Hey everyone, the Talking Dads podcast is brought to you by Little Scholars Early Learning Center. Whether your family needs infant care, a preschool program, or before and after school care, Little Scholars' highly rated Step Up to Quality programs provide quality early childhood education at an affordable price. Visit www.littlescholars.net to get in contact with an enrollment specialist and schedule a tour of any of their 5 Lake County campuses. Here's the deal. Talking Dads fans are getting a little bonus. Mention that you heard about them through our podcast, and when you tour, and you'll receive $25 off of your registration fee. Again, that's Little Scholars Early Learning Center, where children learn, play, and grow together. We are also brought to you by Pub Fredo Gastropub. Pub Fredo was voted Best Gastropub in Cleveland in 2019 by Cleveland Magazine Silver Spoon Awards. We love Pub Fredo. Their menu is chef-inspired, always pushing the limits of traditional pub fare. The other night I had a burger, I believe it was called the Pub Burger. It was incredible. Cooked perfectly. It was amazing. And you won't have a problem pairing your favorite item on the menu with their great selection of local craft beers, crafted cocktails, and of course, an amazing bourbon and whiskey selection. I went with the Bullet 10-year with my Pub Burger. All of this in a cozy, fun, come-as-you-are atmosphere. You can check them out at pubfredo.com and on Facebook and Instagram at PubFredo Gastropub.
We are also brought to you by Marky Fresh Barbershop in Menor, Ohio.
Bro, I love Marky Fresh.
It's the best, isn't it?
Dude, I get cut there like every 3 weeks. My kid gets cut there every month
Every
and a
now and
half or
then.
so. Month and a half, 2 months, something like that. They do such a good job.
The environment is phenomenal. Everybody's awesome there.
Can I tell you a secret? I don't
Please.
even give a shit about the haircut. It is so much freaking fun going there.
Just to hang out.
Yeah. I have such
Just have a good time. Every time, man.
Yeah.
You get caught. If you want to be in there fast.
Oh, yeah.
Their whole app, everything, booking to get in.
So
It's so
easy.
convenient and easy, but you get caught up
Oh, yeah.
because you just want to hang out and talk with these guys.
You know what the word is? Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
So many shenanigans.
You don't want to leave.
It's so much fun. But honestly, they do a fantastic job.
They really do.
I look way better when I leave than when I get in
You
there.
really do.
I know.
So, yeah, Marky Fresh.
Yeah, book at markyfresh.com.
Book, get in, stay fresh.
What's up, podcast? Happy holidays. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Talking Dads. This week we bring in special guest Ronnie Paul, actually for round 2 because the first one we didn't take. But no, we had a wonderful time. We got on some really good stuff. We talked about blending families together. We talked about parenting roles, moms, dads, aunts, uncles, whoever. And then we also got into one of my favorite topics. We talked about breakfast for dinner, specifically breakfast sandwiches. So that was fun. Take a listen, tell us what you think, and make sure you share it with your friends and give us that 5-star rating. We love you.
In a world where moms continue to dominate parenting authority and a father's role is minimized in society, 2 dads take on the toughest parenting topics on a weekly basis, all while drinking bourbon. They are the Talking Dads.
I don't know. Maybe we need to upgrade our cables. Take a look at it.
It makes sense, though, because we were constantly rolling them up. I mean, what were we, like 70 or however many episodes in.
And figure
plus-
they're $10, $15, $20 cables.
Yeah,
They're
right.
easy, they're
Yeah.
disposable. This is like...
Right. You
this
don't
is-
want to have to replace the mic. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's something you do not want to do.
And I mean, they're way more durable than you think. It's always, it's always something simple. you know?
Right. All right. Well, Ronnie, thanks for coming back in.
Were we live this whole time we were talking? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
and you're more than welcome to keep doing what you're doing, because on your way in, you had a little issue.
Yeah. Well,
Let's see that bad boy.
this thing right here, whatever the hell this thing was, found in my tire right outside of downtown Willoughby.
Sucks.
This thing looks like. Hold on a second.
It almost looks like a.
Yes,
like
I'm
someone was
trying to set up a tow right now for a car.
You know
My car
those.
here right there.
You know those like people that make like mini models of whatever. Like they'll have like the tiny cooking where they're like using like the tiny knives.
Yeah.
It looks like someone was like forging like a tiny axe. Like,
seriously,
oh,
though,
make this
look at
cool
the-
Like
video.
I had said, it looks like a modern day like arrowhead or something. It's like it looks like it
they
was
were sharpening it up here.
Right.
Like you see, it's all scraped
Well,
up. right
because
there.
then ran through a grinder for sure.
when I pulled in and I heard it going around the tire. When I stopped and looked, it was just slightly underneath where I couldn't pull it out. So I rolled my car forward, and I'm like wiggling this thing back and forth. I pull it out, and it's just like. I feel like Bruce Willis out of like Die Hard when he pulled that piece of glass out of his foot.
Yeah.
You know, like I see this thing and I got it. And it's like this big shard of fucking shrapnel that I've like you said, like so
thing
like
is-
like
Yeah, it's substantial.
yeah. So that was
sucks, man.
yeah. All right. So I was like, all
Good
right.
start, man. Thanks
good.
for coming back in.
Yeah, and well, kudos to you guys for the reason why we're having to do round two.
Yeah.
So this could all be blamed on us.
Yeah.
Like,
And
oh, you're wasting
specifically
another-
really me.
Yeah, let's get serious here. No, it was it sucks. And then it sucks that you had to come back here and deal with that. It looks like, I mean, are you surprised? Would you be surprised if like some asshole didn't make some of these things and just throw them out his window and just like hey,
right out there
yeah,
for
just to be a dick?
Some-
I'm telling you,
Could
I find screws and things like that sometimes
Well,
like
you
in my
see those,
driveway, and
though.
I'm like, where the hell did that even come from?
Right.
Where the hell did that come from? And why is it in the middle of my driveway?
Yep. I've no, you're right. It is kind of like people are sick like
Yeah.
that.
Some kids or something like driving by people's house and just throwing nails.
Well, you see
up
those
there.
stories.
Dude,
of
I
kids,
used to
like-
do that kind of shit when I was one of those kids. I was one of those kids.
there you go.
Dude, I remember I had to have been
It's going
probably
down.
15 years old, and my buddies and my one buddy and I, we like had uprooted one of those. The signs that like for like your house is for sale.
Yeah,
You know, they use like
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
those like 4x4s.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, the
like
big sign,
you know,
yeah.
and they put it down like a foot in the ground or so.
Right.
We wiggled one of these things out of the ground and laid it across what, like we lived out in the country. So we laid it across the country road, like at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And we see this car barreling over the hill and it comes down. We're hiding in this ditch and you just hear boom, boom. And like, and then the tires just screech. And I got up to go run, and my buddy grabbed me by the shoulder and by the back of the shirt. He was like, "Stay down. They'll see us if we take off running." And we watched, and we blew out like all 4 tires of this car. And a flatbed had to come and take this thing, and so that's my karma.
Yeah, there you go. It comes full circle. Right?
Yeah, it came full circle. I dicked with somebody's car, and
You know, I've started to think of like the stupid shit we did.
Oh yeah. I mean, remember Don't Stop?
Yeah.
We
What
used
was
to
this?
so we used to live over by like the Bellflower area. Bellflower Road, and so we had
I grew
friends-
up in that area too. Yeah.
And we had friends on both sides of Bellflower. And so we'd be riding
Yeah.
our bikes, and once we would get like 2 or 3 guys together, we would go pick up everyone else. And so we'd go, and every time we would cross Bellflower, and you're talking middle of the day in the summer, so traffic isn't crazy, but there's
Yeah.
traffic. It's not like that's a...
Well, and it's a 25-mile-an-hour road, but everybody knows that you want to go so much faster down that
You
road.
do.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah,
do.
people
totally
do.
But there's
wanna
like
go
a
down
ton of kids that live over there.
There
and
is.
There was kids like us who would, you'd get going down one of the streets and be like, all right, don't stop. All right, don't stop. And you would just go, man. You just, I mean, I got hit once.
Yeah.
Did
got
you?
hit.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
pulled over by a cop.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For
for not stopping and like just flying across Bellflower going like,
Really?
on my bike. Yeah. Like in cars.
I remember when I got hit.
I mean, imagine that.
so
You're
a
driving down,
cop stops you on your bike, and
Not
you're
only
like
that-
15 years old.
whoop, whoop, lights on. And everything.
Oh my god! What?
And I remember thinking like, holy shit, man, I'm going to get arrested. And he's like, hey, idiot, you need to stop at stop signs. He's like, you have to follow the rules that cars follow. I'm like, all right, you're right. Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, honestly though, imagine if I would have given somebody like a freaking heart attack. Like,
Right?
Sure.
Or what if I really got hurt?
Right? Yeah. I mean,
Well, like you said, like
You got hit by a car,
I
you
got
said.
hit by a car. It was July 4th. We were going across the street. We were picking up Witterman.
Yeah.
And we were going to go ride our bikes to Menor High for the fireworks. And
what year is this?
It's probably like 98, probably.
Yeah.
Oh
like
shit!
97,
Okay, all right.
98.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
we're
is
like
like
that.
way. This is like
This is when we were in junior high school.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Okay.
Yeah. And so we're going, and I was in the back. You guys all made it, and like I thought I was clear, and so wasn't just like beat footing it. Like I was just kind of like coasting or whatever. And this car hit the back of my tire, and I fucking tumbled over. My face was all fucking road rashed up and shit like that.
That car took off.
Yeah, they took off.
I got hit by a car on Andrews right in front of Burger King when I was 15.
Really?
Yeah, guy was pulling in. I was just crossing over on the sidewalk, riding down Andrews. So I was heading north, heading towards Lake, and he was just pulling right into Burger King. Just, blindside, just didn't see me, and just the timing met up perfectly, and I flew over the hood of his car.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah. He hopped out of his car so quick, I thought he was getting out to beat my ass. I seriously thought he was coming to beat my ass. He was like, holy shit, man. Like, it was like almost like the scene in Superbad. Like, holy shit, dude, are you okay? Like, I'm totally wanted for a nonviolent crime. It was a guy like that, dude. That was what was great about it as well, too. Because he did, he came out like, holy shit, dude, where did you come from? I didn't even see you.
That's the line.
Yeah.
Where'd you come from, man? I didn't see that. Yeah,
what just happened? And back then, it's not even like he was on his phone or something like that.
No, because this would have been the early 2000s. Because you guys were talking about that happening in the late 90s. That was around the time I moved to this area. I moved here in '99, so this was I had only been here a year.
Gotcha. Okay, well that makes sense then.
Yeah. I was junior high school. So,
I mean, speaking of people getting hit by cars, Brian Perry.
Yeah.
So we were going to that St. John Vianney festival. We're coming home, and so picture this: it's like what 98, 99, and you have your headset, you have your headphones in.
Oh
you're
you got your
CD
Discman.
player,
Your Discman,
in your hand. So
probably all
hand in
taped up.
Oh yeah, just exactly, man. It's extra batteries in your pocket. So we're coming down Bellflower, and I see this guy, and he's looking to his left. All right, so here we come, and he's looking, waiting for traffic to for that last car. Then he's gonna go. He's not looking our way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this guy's not gonna look over our way. So I go behind him. Just quick decision. I go behind the car. Brian goes right out in front of him. Sure enough, this dude pulls out and crushes Brian, and I see it. He's in this big ass van. I see it through the window of the van. I see Brian get hit and just fly off his bike.
Yeah, just like Supermaning over the hood.
I'm like, see, I knew what I was doing. Brian was trying to find the next song on the mix, but
next song.
But he just got crushed. The guy gets out of the car. Brian's like, "What the fuck?"
My girlfriend and I were just talking the other day about the Discmans, and I was saying, do you remember how much they would eat your batteries up to run the anti-skip on those things?
Oh, the anti-skip, man, it was terrible.
It was like, why does this take so much more battery power? Like, my parents used to get so mad. Like, I'd be like on vacation, I'd be like, I need more AA's, and my mom would be like, you run it with the anti-skip, and it's like,
I'm riding my bike. Okay, I don't want it to skip.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in the middle of this song.
Well, that's why we used to tape it up, though.
Yeah.
Right? Because you'd put I would always put electrical tape around the Discman, so that way,
it held the case down.
Hold it together, yeah.
Look at this. Dad hacking at 12.
Hit that button.
Yeah. Dad hacking.
She said.
Dad hack.
Yeah, man. Oh, the Discman. Remember trying to jam one of those in your pocket?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could do it in some bands, but
Jinkos.
yeah.
Jinkos. I never wore Jinkos. I was never that asshole.
You lose them in your back pocket that go down your heel. It's like, okay, well, how am I supposed to get my wallet out of here?
Yeah.
And that's why these people have those chains, right?
Yeah.
So.
Hey, all right, I gotta admit,
there you go.
Yeah, you got it.
You still got it. No one's taking your wallet.
Here's my problem though: is I've been doing this since I was 12, and I'm in my mid 30s now, like flirting, and flirting with closer to 40, and I still wear a wallet chain. So
hey, nothing wrong with that, man.
You got that style. It's all
you do
good.
it. It looks good on you.
Oh, okay. Well, I always just thought I was dressing like a 12-year-old still, but
no, man.
Well, it hit me last Halloween when Arco decided that he was gonna go. He's like, I'm gonna go punk for Halloween. Can I borrow some clothes? And I was like, yeah,
thanks,
sure.
Man,
so
Halloween.
I just started thinking. Well, that was like at first I didn't even think about that. But then he's like, I want you to do my hair up, and I want you to I give me these clothes, give me these shoes. It's like put the whole ensemble on him. And don't get me wrong, we went very extreme. It was the most extreme shit that I could find. That like I would probably wear when we're playing out or something.
Right.
And I'm like questioning myself. I'm like, this guy's dressing like me for Halloween. So does that mean I'm dressing like an idiot every other day of the year except for the one day I'm supposed to be? Or again, now we're getting into dad stuff. I don't look like the dads at the park at times. So
sure. And, yeah, I think that's cool
and
though.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Funny, we do that all the time. We'll have theme days at the daycare, right? Well, it's backwards day or it's 80s day or whatever.
Yeah.
And some of the shit that the teachers bring in and wear, I'm like, holy crap, where did you find that? And they're like, well, it's just in my closet. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
good for you.
I
All
should
right,
have
sweet.
kept a lot of my clothes.
Yeah, I know, right?
But not really though, because they wouldn't fit. Also, I don't have the space for that kind of shit.
I gotta say, you're in great shape for a dad.
Thanks, man.
Like total, like
I think we're all in great shape.
we're all beautiful in our own ways.
Round is a shape.
Round is a shape. You're right. Yeah. Hey, cuddly is a shape. I get it.
Absolutely.
You
He's
know,
great.
like,
He's cuddly, man.
yeah, but no, like
I
I envy guys like you. Like we talked about this last week when we were here because I feel like now I'm just like a regular on the show because this is my second time in a way.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But like, no, we were talking about like you were like Ian's like I come walking in and he's watching the Browns game and he's on his bike, you know, and he's like going. I was like, dude, man, I don't have that drive. I don't have that
No, but
ambition.
here's the thing, though. I don't really have that drive either, unless I'm in a competition. Now, I did before COVID. I was working out all the time. I've been a lazy piece of shit.
Everybody
right?
has been though. I think
I will
everybody's
say
been
this:
saying that.
I'm lucky that I have.
You
I have good metabolism.
Yeah.
Like I get it from my dad.
Right,
For sure. My dad's in great shape. Well, he does work out a lot and he runs and all that. If I have to work out, I will. And like if I get into a routine where I can work out all the time, I'll do it. But I've just been so fucking lazy. And once the kids started school, no time for it.
Yeah.
So the reason I was doing that bike thing that he was talking about, I was in a step competition for work. So we had like a tournament that went on for like a couple months,
And
we
you
were
were
in the
like
finals.
serious gift cards and shit like
Oh yeah,
that,
we could win.
right?
We could win some good shit. So I'm like, I want to win this. And this dude that was on the other team was getting like 50,000 steps a day, which
Did you guys win? or
That's
no?
bullshit, by the way. That's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that right now.
that's like 30 miles.
And I'm going to call bullshit on that because when I landscaped the summer before I went to barber college, I was the trimming bitch. Okay. So like, that's all I did was like, if you guys have ever landscaped before,
Oh, yeah, I
like
did.
that's the bitch job. Like you're the trim bitch. So like, you're just walking all day long the perimeters of the inside and the outside of lawns.
Right.
Yeah.
My biggest day that I had, and we're talking like a 14-hour day of trimming. We're talking like, you know, if you have a landscaper weekly, like you have a pretty decent sized home. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
sure.
you've got beds, like, you know, so this is like, you're doing a lot of shit. And I want to say I had 36,000 steps. I walked 17 miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
did,
And that was a 14-hour day. So like, I'm going to say, I got to call bullshit on that. Like,
What did I
His
do?
is-
I did the 24 and 24 not that long ago.
Yeah.
Right? 24 miles in 24 hours. It was a charity thing.
yeah, I think I
So
saw that
ran
you
a
posted
mile an
it. Yeah.
hour. So I figured it out. I was doing like 1.4 or 1.6 miles every hour between the run and then just
Walking around.
and
Yeah.
whatever. And in 24 hours, I had like 62,000 steps or something like
But
that.
that's a one-time deal.
Right,
like
right.
if this
That's what I'm
guy's
saying.
like
That's
crushing
24
50,000,
miles.
like
We found out he was like getting these numbers because I'm like, I'm feeling good. I got like 20,000 steps the first
I
night.
would feel good
Like,
if I had 20,000 for a
It was
day.
the finals, right? So I'm like, all right, our teammates, we're all texting each other like, hey, make sure you get up to at least 20. We want to average at least 20 each, mate, right?
Yeah.
And the people that are doing less, try to get them to average 10. And we'll be able to keep up with these guys. This is Thanksgiving, by the way. Dude had 48,000. I'm like, did you not have spent any time with your family? Did you not
like
sit down and
were
eat
you
dinner?
not at home? Like yeah,
How did you get 30 miles in
on a holiday weekend.
on a holiday?
too.
I got. So I woke up at like 5 a.m. on a Thursday on my day off, and I walked 5 miles. And then I got home that night,
oh my
and then
God,
I
I
walked
can't
another
believe-
6 miles. I did 2 different walks, and then like I was like, okay, now I see what I have to deal with. I'm doing 3 5-mile walks a day, plus riding on a bike or going on a treadmill or something like
That dude had to have strapped that thing to
Dude,
his
I was-
chihuahua and put it around,
Right?
ran it around his
I'm
house
like-
or something.
Or like they hopped on like an elliptical, and he like did like an hour. Then his wife hopped on, and then his kids hopped
Right,
on. And then like you know what I
right,
mean? So, like,
exactly.
Who knows?
Like
I'm like,
that's insane.
whatever, they won, we lost, and I couldn't walk for a week after that. Especially the last night. We were
Yeah.
playing Call of Duty. I was on a bike for 4 hours that night. The last night we did it. And these people come in, they're like, how the fuck did you hit that many steps? I'm like, honestly, man, I walked 10 miles outside, and then I was on a bike for 4 hours after, like, till midnight. I was on this bike.
That is insane.
And I still
Dude,
didn't even,
like
I still didn't touch that dude's score.
That's what I mean.
you
I
put
don't.
Steve in a competition though. I mean, you want him on your team.
Okay.
'Cause
Well, I mean, I get that.
I'm not gonna
I like to
half-ass
lose.
it. I hate losing. I'm very competitive. I might have. No, it's bad.
You know what's actually funny? I bet you he has no recollection of this at all. But
I might not.
we actually got into a fight in 10th grade gym class over a volleyball tournament.
That's true. We did.
because
I remember that.
You do remember
I
that? Oh my gosh! Wow.
I was very competitive.
Do you
man.
remember exactly what it was about?
No, I just
but
remember
it was.
we kind of got into it.
And it was volleyball
Yeah, it
too.
was.
You remember that too, dude? That is great.
We were
I can't
talking
believe you
earlier
remember
about
that.
like old memories and shit like that. And he's like, I don't remember anything. I'm like, I remember stupid shit.
I remember stupid shit too,
You know,
because
like-
that's something like that. Like, you know, my chick and I have actually been like talking about like a lot of old, just like past stuff, just like sharing like old like high school shit like lately and stuff, and like it's like little things like that. Like I've been digging back in the vault quite a bit, you know,
It's
on
kind
some
of cool.
stuff.
It's funny when you
Yeah.
start thinking about like things. You're like, holy shit! You start picking things back up, and it's like, wow,
But
this is a
like
lot.
that's like one of those things. Like, you know, we've been friends since junior high, but then like we, you know, got married and life
Yeah.
gets in the way, and like you grow up like apart. Like we were
Yeah.
never like super close friends, but we were friends.
We were friends.
We definitely hung out outside
for
of high
sure,
school,
sure.
you know. And like so, like when I hear that like you remember something just as dumb.
Yeah.
About that I do too. It's like, all right, that's fucking cool. So like that was a moment in his life too, because
Yeah,
that was like
I remember.
that was over 20 years ago, and it's
I remember fights over Monopoly at my house when I was little. I remember stupid, like it's all about competition all the time.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Well,
So,
you're
like,
the
we're
youngest
not-
of three brothers.
and I was always losing, getting
So-
beat, and I was always so angry, just so mad. I got to the point sometimes where I would actually be beating one of my brothers in something, and I would ease up to let them win.
just because you were like, I'm
Because you
so
didn't want the ass whooping if you
Yeah, because it's probably better this way.
So like, don't play Uno with his family.
Don't play Uno with me.
I play
You just
Uno
don't
with
play
him.
Uno with you.
I fuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. So there was
But I'm also competitive with Uno.
yeah,
So.
we get it gets heated, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
Dude, I love Uno.
so we played.
We get
there
some
was
matches.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you play Uno at all? Have you
Well,
played
okay.
Uno?
We were actually talking about this last night, because last night so again, between like my chick and I, we have 5 kids total.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why which put me on
need
the
to get
show
that- yeah.
is having to deal with a lot. And so last night we had the 2 oldest, and we did a game night last night, and we played Life. And then
that's
it
a
was
good
like,
one,
so
yeah.
we played. I know. I was like, we went to the store, and it was like, let's pick out a game, and it was like, let's pick out something we haven't played. Like, just I was like, do you like Life? I remember playing that as a kid, and she's like, I love that game. I was like, me too. I was like, we have to fucking get this game. But do you remember what Life was like when you played your old parents' Life board game?
We had like the spinner like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
like, where
and it was like
around.
built into the board,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It was
yeah.
built into the board. Do you remember the money?
Kind of. I'm trying to think of it right now, but it's,
I mean,
So
all
there
kinda
was like
blends
5. There was
together.
like it was like 500s and thousands, and
Right,
then
right.
10 and 20 and 50 and 100 or something like that. I
Yeah.
think 100,000 was the thing, dude. The Life game now for 2020, if it's Milton Bradley or whoever does it, like it is fucking baller Life. It's baller fucking Life, because I tell you what, like we all played, and the lowest money
Shit
per
job you're getting is $100,000 a
Oh,
year.
the lowest person was my daughter, and she had the lowest amount of money, and she still had like $3.6 million. It was like
100,000 back.
that's
in the
what I'm
day.
talking about. I was like, I couldn't believe this. Like every card I'm drawing, it says save for the end of the game to receive $100K. I'm like, I've got 10 of these things already. Like, what is going?
She has a black card.
Yeah, but
Just drops in its metal.
But
like,
that's the thing. It's like I was like, this is the craziest game of life I've ever seen.
Dude.
It's just like it's come a long way.
That goes along with everything else in society is unrealistic expectations. Like, oh, I don't want this shit job at $100,000 a year.
Right.
Right. It's very
Yeah.
true, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I'm going to save $3 million by the end of this.
yeah.
This is life, isn't it?
And that's what I was just like, man, I couldn't believe how embellished it was. But to go back to what you were saying is no. So then we played a round of spades afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, rummy. We played a round of
Rummy,
rummy.
okay.
Yeah, played a round of rummy afterwards, and then it was like, oh, too bad we don't have an Uno deck.
Yeah.
Because it was like we could
Uno
get some,
is-
everybody gets down with Uno.
Dude, we were playing for it was like it was last winter.
last
probably.
winter, yeah.
Yeah, we were playing a lot, man. And we had this Ian had this deck where you could fill in like rules.
Oh yeah,
like
I've
the
seen
wild
those.
cards?
Like random miles.
Yeah, I've seen
So
those.
the one that we ended up doing because we played with a few people and it ended up being like a drinking game.
Yeah.
It always turns into a
So the
drinking
one that we
game.
turned it into was if you get one of those wilds, it's called you could pick your rule, and one of the rules we called was rapid fire. And it was it's insane. If you have like 50 cards in your hand, you could end up with one in rapid fire.
So you just don't have to like stay in order.
It's either number or color,
okay.
You
right?
just have to be fast.
Oh,
so number or color.
okay.
So if a number comes up that you can play, Even if it's not your turn, you can play it.
So
and
any
then
at any
it
order, so
switches.
boom, boom, boom.
It's
Okay,
insane. So
okay.
like,
But you can't throw
somebody
3 at a
calls-
time though. You have to like go. If you have
Right.
3 ones, you go 1, 1, 1. You
Right,
can do them all
yeah.
3 at the same time.
But it's,
Okay,
it's
makes sense.
hilarious though, because someone would be like, "All right," and you know when they're gonna throw it, and they slam it down. They're like, "Rapid fire!"
Yep, and it's
Everyone
game on.
Stands up, and we're like,
And it's funny because then somebody gets the next one. They're like, okay, no more rapid fire.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with rapid fire for a minute. Yeah.
Because you're having like a miniature like panic attack
Yeah,
because it's insane.
your watch is telling you to calm down.
yeah,
A
your heart
miniature
rate's at
panic
130 beats per second.
All right, hey Ronnie, before we go any further, because we got some good stuff already. Since the last one never actually got to come out,
Right.
Why don't you tell us who you are, dad profile it, a little bit about yourself and the kids, why you are here.
Okay, so the experience we had talked about started of almost 15 years ago because I've got almost a 15-year-old daughter, 12-year-old son, and then 3 you could pretty much say stepchildren,
Gotcha.
which are the ages of 5, 7, and 9. So we've got pretty much every age range under the sun.
Yeah.
And our hands are full pretty much at all times, and that pretty much brings me here. Barber and pretty much just I mean, I've got some cool hobbies like I like my hot rod cards and
Yeah.
greasing up my hair and loud rock and roll music. So
That's it,
that's me right there in a
love it.
nutshell.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, when you were here last week, that was last week, right?
It was last Sunday. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we should say again Merry Christmas. And
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right now.
But no, you were saying how, like throughout pandemic or whatever you want to call it, is that you've taken on like this huge role. Oh, you know what? We were talking about the band. And
Right,
how,
right.
like you guys have kind of taken a hiatus. Like you really need to focus on being a father.
It's just time for me to it's time for me to step back and just focus on other things for now.
Yeah, because it sounds like you guys have a lot going on with virtual learning or whatever it is like there's times when you've got all 5 by yourself.
For sure. Yeah. Life is really like once the pandemic hit, life really like threw itself at us. And it was just like, man, we've got like, I've just, like your priorities just kind of shift, and
sure.
like I said, just like the music thing was just kind of like, I just don't need this right now.
Well, the
And
thing
having
is-
a band is like a job.
It really is. It really is.
Oh,
It's like it is a full-time job in itself. Cause like that was like the thing I always like would say is like these guys like I'm like I didn't have to bring anything, but like I'm the guy that like, when we're not doing stuff, like I'm booking shows and I'm like, I've got to deal with the management while I'm there. And it just what I mean? Like it's like, and then working a full-time job, marketing yourself as a barber, that's a new career for me as well. And it's just like, I've got like, I've just got so much going on right now that it's like, you know what? That's like, I'm not saying that like I'm done with music. I think like that's always going to be something that'll be part of me. But for right now, it's like, just
Gotcha.
I'm just taking a snooze, taking a break. I'm done for a little
snooze
bit.
for a little while.
Yeah, I'm done for a little while. When the right thing pops up,
Sure.
it'll pop up. And
would
if it does,
imagine,
and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
imagine too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like because of the pandemic, like it's not like you guys were able to book shows like you used to.
We canceled so much. We lost so much money.
I mean, that like probably takes a lot out of it, like the wind out of the sails of saying, like I know when like for the podcast, like the shit hit and we had all this stuff planned for the spring and summer, and like all of a sudden that just went away.
Yeah.
You know, and so
All these
we
events
had
and
to
everything.
change how we booked guests. We had to change like
We're
we had
doing
to do
Zoom.
Zoom stuff.
I
and,
can't
like,
tell you how many shows we had canceled this year.
Right.
I can only imagine.
So many, so many cancellations.
Yeah.
And like this, it's always the year too that like you're thinking like, okay, like this is going to be a year that like we make it a little
Blow
bit
it
bigger
up.
and a little bit better, you know?
And
And
then-
then it just got like with everything that happened, you just start like, you kind of start stepping back and just realizing like, like right now it's just like, like sometimes it's just a good time to lay dormant with it, like that's why I say like, like once things start to open back up and things start to get back to normal, like these types of things will start to, filter back in, I mean, cause it's not even just like my band in general being like a little local cover band where, I mean, they're saying that like some of these bands, like big time bands won't even play till 2021, right?
Yeah.
Like end of 2021, right. The whole entertainment industry as a whole has just been rocked by this thing.
shows,
Comedy show. Yeah, all that shit, man.
Right?
stuff
Like again, like this isn't the same thing of like what I was doing before, but it's still a form of entertainment, you know?
Sure.
And that's why I also too hopped on this so quick to be like,
Yeah.
let's do this, because I thought it would be fun, you know? It's like I haven't done anything like outlet like creative like that. And we played our last show in September.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was, I'm not going to mention the bar, but the bar was a shit show, and it just sucked. Like, they treated us like crap, and it was just like, everybody's just got a poor attitude right now with like a lot of the stuff going on, that it's just like, we just kind of decided as a whole that it was like, you know what, it's not really like, because it wasn't like we all pretty much decided collectively like, all right,
It was
we're gonna like, we're walking away from this for a while, you know. So
I mean, look, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
no,
right?
it's
Like,
not. It's not, because I see like my old guitar player, my old drummer are constantly getting together and jamming, and you know they would invite me if they knew I would say yeah, but they know I'm gonna say no,
Right.
Because I'm just again like I'm just so busy with that kind of stuff, and also too they also know that like I'm famous for hating rehearsal. I hate band rehearsal.
really?
I hate fucking band
You're
rehearsal
like
so
Allen
much.
Iverson.
Practice.
Yeah,
Practice,
like
man.
yeah,
Talking about
well,
practice.
but that was like a thing that we would always joke around about and say like we got kind of cocky with it, that we like other bands would get mad at us because they're like, so you guys never rehearse, and we say no. A lot of times we tell each other, all right, we're gonna learn this song. You, and you, and you. Everybody learn your part. We're gonna play it live at the show next Friday.
Wow.
And then we've never rehearsed before, and we go,
do it live.
all right, is everybody ready? Here we go. And see what it
I like that though.
So I would say 90% of them were usually bangers. Like we ripped through and be like, okay, cool, that works. And then there were a few select few 20% that were just total like
Yeah,
limp
but I mean,
dicks.
you're gonna have that.
Oh, for sure. But they were just limp
Yeah, but there's
dicks.
got to be something to like in the moment realizing that it works. And I would imagine you know that it works pretty early on. Like, all right, this
You can catch a
sounds-
vibe.
Yeah, right.
You can catch a vibe. It's
And,
like doing this. Like you can feel a
Exactly.
conversation. You can know where a conversation's going, or you can know if it's going to be like, yeah, it's just not gelling, or it's forced, or you know what I mean? Like
Well,
it's
that's what I
the
was
same
gonna
thing
say.
with
Like
music.
when we first started this, we not necessarily rehearse, but we would get together for an hour or so beforehand and be like, all right, at this timestamp, we're going to talk about this.
Right.
And then at this timestamp, we're going to transition into this. And
Right.
we have the whole freaking hour and a half, whatever, just played
Plan.
out.
Yeah. It
But
was
then,
not good.
here's what you guys probably did. Then after that was once you guys started getting better and seasoned and veteran at it, you stopped doing that less.
Yeah.
And then you just started going like, we're just gonna go live, like, and meet up and just do this.
We almost
right.
went like cold turkey
we
with it
did.
because we were like listening back to them, you know, trying to like take notes
you
and,
could
like,
tell,
all right, how
too.
did it sound?
So that's exactly what we did with
Yeah.
the band. We
I
would
think
do the
that's
same
cool.
thing. We just got to a point where it was like, fuck rehearsal.
Yeah.
Like we're not making any money doing that. If we're gonna rehearse, let's just fucking play out to a bar. 90% of these people are drunk anyways. Right. So if we fuck up the song, I always just say that's more notes for you guys. That's a better bang for your buck.
You
know?
There you go.
Yeah, right.
That's what I would always say. You get to hear more music now because we'll start the song over again.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so, and again, like most of these people are hammered off their asses anyways.
Yeah.
You know, they
Other
just want to
people
hear,
pay
they
attention
just
to
want to
some
hear,
music.
yeah, they just want to hear loud rock and roll music.
Right,
So
right. That's
it
cool.
worked out.
That's cool. Yeah, there's something about being creative, though. Like you said, like getting back in here just to do something that's
Right.
creative,
Yeah.
and using your voice and things like that.
Yeah,
That's
just
cool.
it's just a cool outlet. Like I said, like so that's why like last week was almost kind of like when you were like, you came in the shop and you're like, dude, I fucked up. I can't believe it. We got to do it again. I'm like, dude, that's all right because you know what? That was like a practice round.
right. Well,
for
now
me.
that I know that you hate rehearsal, now I really feel terrible.
no,
Really
no,
messed
but
up,
the,
man.
And then we got this fucking thing.
no, but
I
for
threw those down the street on the way here.
the thing is though is like this one though is different because I've never done a podcast before.
Right.
So this was kind of like I didn't mind rehearsing that one, you know, for the first time
Well, I'll
through.
tell you what, you
but
did
yes,
awesome,
no,
man.
that thing does suck.
Yeah.
That is like I'm already like I hope my tow truck guy is not. I do have a tow truck guy actually.
Nice. Well,
That's
I really
yeah.
do. I do, and
I
I
imagine you would.
right? Yeah, the car guy doesn't have a tow truck guy, right? Yeah. So yeah, no, but he's not answering me. So
We still got
one of you
some
guys
time.
might be driving me home.
We'll figure
Hey,
it out.
we'll figure it out. And like you said, we're not gonna just pack up and leave and be like, hey man, good luck.
Right? Yeah.
We got to lock
Doses.
up, so
Yeah. We've exceeded our time here.
Guys, it's cold.
so-
Yeah, well, let's go sit in your car or something. We gotta go.
Yeah, right. But no, that does make for good. That hey, I'll remember this for the rest of my life, man.
There you go.
That's it. I like
That's why I
it.
throw that stuff in the street in downtown Willoughby.
That's why you do it.
Hoping our guests have something to talk about.
Making memorable
Yeah.
memories one day at a
That's what
time.
we do here, man. We're like, we don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, I got something.
No, yeah, trust me, dude, I got this all figured out. Hopefully, he's the one that hits it.
I was surprised though when he did say that last week's podcast went over well because I was like,
was
okay,
good.
cool. I was like, that's
Yeah.
good because I didn't know what to expect. Like I told you guys afterwards, like I didn't know like if I would like.
Well, and here's the thing. To be fair, like I don't know if we've ever walked away from a podcast and was like, oh, that fucking sucked.
No.
No, but you
You know
said
what
you've
I
had
mean?
ones that like
We've
sometimes
had
have to
ones that,
drive
like,
a little
we
more.
do. Work a
we
little
have
bit
carried a
more.
little bit more, and like with you, it was easy. And like we said, I think you went to the bathroom after we were done last week, and we're like, that was really fucking good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad because I was always like, so like I was saying even last week that no one got to hear was when we were, I was talking about that Burt Kershire or whatever his name
Yeah.
is, podcast
Burt
where he's like,
Kreischer, yeah.
you're Burt Kreischer, yeah. And he was saying like, you know, like a lot of times the people want like the hosts of the podcast want the guest to actually talk more.
Yes.
You know, and I've always been that person that like, oh, like if I come and do this, it's like your show. I'm going to scale back a little bit.
No.
you know?
No, don't.
So, don't. Yeah.
And you did great too with it.
And I
you
never
are
shut
again.
up, so it doesn't. This is like, hey, he's a perfect guy to bring on.
And that's the nice thing about like not having it scripted or anything like that. We get into a conversation and it goes wherever.
I was telling my neighbor about that. He lives across the street from me, and I was, well, I'm talking. I was like, oh, so I got to go do this podcast here in a little bit. And he's like, oh, who you guys? What do you? I was like, you know, I told him. He was like, oh, I've heard of those guys before. And
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so yeah, give a plug there. He's
Yeah.
he's got a local DJ business through Vibe Entertainment, so I give him a quick plug
okay.
there.
There you
Give him
go.
Vibe Entertainment. He's out
Okay.
of Painesville.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, give him a plug
How
there
about
because
that?
he had heard of your guys. So
Oh, sweet.
Love that.
yeah, so I was so he was like, so what's the content? I was like, dude, honestly, it's just dad shit.
Yeah.
Dad, just
Well, you had
real
made the
life
comment-
dad stuff.
You had made the comment. You're like, dude, I feel like we didn't even get into a lot of dad stuff.
We didn't, no.
And really, the reality is a lot of times we bring dads in, and sometimes they just want to talk about whatever. Like we talked about cars for a long time last week.
We did,
right?
yeah,
and
we
that was
did.
really cool. I was super
That
entertained
was.
by it.
There are
it
so
was
many
fun.
listeners that will not download that podcast though
But
because
they won't know, and you listen to it, and you know it is what it is. And
like my
and
chick will be
again-
the one that's hitting fast forward on that going, okay, when are you guys gonna start talking about babies again? You know,
Yeah.
like you guys are talking about
car
fucking
stuff again.
carburetors,
Here we
like
go.
you know, like I want to hear about bassinets. I don't want to hear about fucking carburetors.
But all that, like, all the stuff that we do filters into being a dad.
For sure, yeah.
Because, like, we don't, like, here's the thing is moms have this, for the most part, and I don't like to generalize, but for the most part, women have this amazing ability to just be good at being a parent.
Oh my god, it's
Like, I
so
don't know if it's
natural
'cause
to
they,
them.
They carry
Instantly.
the baby or what, but like
They're
I
just
think it's work.
They're natural born nurturers.
Yes.
is what it is. They're put here like as a way, like they're caretakers. You know, like that's why you see them as more nurses than you
Sure.
see.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not trying to like be sexist. I'm just saying like, you know, like in situations when it comes to caring like that, like
Yeah.
they're just they have more of a
They're
nurturing
more
touch.
natural at different jobs.
Yeah,
And-
nurturing touch.
Yeah.
So what
absolutely
I've
have it.
noticed is like for me personally, like I have the things that I used to love to do, whether it's, you know, I like to go out and go catch a game, or I like to hang out with the guys and play cards or shoot pool or whatever it is that we like to do. Right. And for me, it's convincing my wife that like, I need to go out and do this. Right. Like, because in my head, if I get to still be who I am, then I'm a much better father and I'm a much better husband because, all right, I still have my outlets, right? To whereas my wife, like I have to force her. Like she has completely, like her life is our kids and our home and that's cool.
And
like
being home and relaxing.
she genuinely enjoys it. Like I'm not saying that like she's in some prison where she can't
No,
leave.
I get what
like,
you're-
but I
yeah.
have to force her. I was like, why don't you call your friends, call Liz, whatever. Like, why don't you go do something and get out for a while? She's like, I don't know. I like hanging out with you guys.
Well, you know
I'm
why?
like, okay,
Because
that's
guys
cool.
are more selfish than women.
100% true.
When it comes to our relationships, guys are more selfish with that kind of shit.
100%
Like,
true.
and that's
Absolutely.
why. Like, I mean, like, I always gotta force my chick to go do shit.
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And for me, I'm always asking. Be like, hey, like, I was like, so what are you doing? I was like, it was 10 o'clock this morning. I was like, I was gonna go do a podcast in about 6 hours. What do you got going on? You know, like,
Yeah.
like same thing. Like,
And that's the thing. I try to tell my wife all the time. I'm like, why don't you schedule girls' night out?
Yeah.
I will stay home and relax because then I won't feel so fucking guilty
Right.
about always going to do stuff like this or
Right.
going out.
They just
like,
don't have a desire to
No, it's
like
I genuinely think that, like, especially with my wife, she would rather stay home and be with the kids and do whatever, and me included. Like, she likes to hang out with me sometimes, I think.
Yeah, we like to tell ourselves what to do.
for sure.
But like versus going out and going to not now going to a bar, but you know what I'm
Right,
saying,
yeah.
like
Going
doing
to
something
something, yeah.
social, like whatever. Like, she likes to do it every once in a while.
That,
But
like this COVID has taught me to be a homebody.
Yeah,
I love
for
it.
sure.
I fucking love it.
And we've
man.
talked about this, man. I've grown accustomed to this lifestyle of not having to be anywhere.
Yeah, I'm digging
Like
it.
my-
I'm really digging it.
Biggest thing that I have to do or be anywhere I have to be is here most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't have holidays anywhere. I don't have birthday parties anywhere. I don't have random places that I have to be all the time. I'm
do
not
you
constantly
remember?
running.
It was, I don't know if it was last year, maybe 2 years. It was probably every year.
Yeah.
but it'd be like August, and you've gone through like 2 solid months of summer where every weekend you either have a wedding or you have some event that you have to be at, or you have 2 kids' birthday parties that you have to be at that weekend.
Yeah.
Like, your weekends are
Your
packed.
booked instantly.
And I remember complaining about it. We're like, dude, I have all this shit to do. Like, I never get to just sit home and relax. And then the fucking pandemic hits, and you're like, God, I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah, I know.
It does suck. Like, so I don't mind it in the summertime because you could actually go out and do things.
Right.
Like yesterday, I'm sitting at home in the morning. Liz is working. I'm like, I got to do something. I can't sit in this house all day. And go figure, it was pretty nice the last few
was,
days,
yeah.
like during the
Yeah.
week. And then all of a sudden Saturday rolls around.
Yeah.
I look at my phone
raining.
and I'm like, oh, 100% chance of rain.
I love that.
All
that's,
day long.
And that's always me. Like I'm always looking at the weather to take out my car.
Yeah.
You know, so like
Yeah.
I'm looking at that and I'll be looking, yeah, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I was looking at the weather this week and I'm like, actually, like, okay, I got a flat tire now. So should I drive the other car or not? You know, like,
How's the weather
but
looking?
well, you know what? We're going to check right now, actually, because
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sitting at home and I'm like, okay, well, it's also 55 degrees outside. And so I took the
It was
kids
nice
to a
yesterday.
park. and we just walked around.
Monday's a high of 36,
That's
32, 34, 36, 37. So pretty much.
It's cold. Is it raining
December.
all week?
Yeah.
Is it raining
No,
all
it's
week?
kind of clear, but
All right, well.
it's December.
December.
But yeah, like I forced the kids out. I'm like, let's go do something. They were excited. We went to this park out in Willoughby Hills, and it's got this amazing overlook. Like it's
Yeah.
awesome. So we did that. But then, of course, halfway through, it starts pouring. The kids are
course.
having a blast. We're getting all muddy.
It's fun.
But they had a blast. It was great. So we got out of the house, and then around 3 o'clock, I'm like, dude, the sun's out, and it's 56 degrees outside. I'm like, we're going outside. So I started.
Dude.
I'm like, I'm gonna take them to the football field right over here. You could go in there. I'm like, I'm gonna get a soccer ball and a football, and we're gonna go play on the soccer field or on the football field. I get them all dressed and ready to go. I'm about to load them in the car, and it just downpour.
Downpour.
I'm like, all right, sweet, we're staying home.
Yeah.
Sweet, this is.
Right.
That's
man.
the one thing I've got like almost a full acre. So that I can't tell you how many times during the pandemic, I just, I'm like, we're shutting off devices and we're just going outside and just run. Just go.
Just run.
Just get outside. Fresh air. Do something. Like do you remember being a kid and you just went on your
exploring.
bike and you just didn't come back for hours?
Dude, you come.
I
you come
can't
back
get
for
my
dinner,
I
and
can't
then-
get my kids to fucking go outside half the time for anything. You know,
we
like
used to go. Remember, we used to get on our bikes and we go hit the McMinn Fields.
Yep.
And remember, they had the
hill- the
like the
dirt hill.
hills, the dirt hills. Like there was like almost like a makeshift like BMX.
yeah, a little like mini
it
BMX
was
track.
like a
yeah.
quarter-mile long. And it probably wasn't
Not
even
even
that
that big,
long.
yeah, but it was big enough.
But it was big enough, and we used to just go ride up and down those stupid freaking hills.
Go hit up Wendy's.
for hours.
And then just
Oh,
ride
yeah.
bikes everywhere. We'd ride bikes all over the place.
Yeah.
Hang out at somebody's house, but we were outside or doing something, playing pickup game, and then go home for dinner, and then go back out.
And then go
You're-
back
you're
out
talking
and
about the
go
middle of the
play
summer, right?
basketball
Exactly.
at somebody's house
And then
or
all of a sudden
whatever.
it's like, okay, street lights are on. It's getting close to, all right. And then go home and do it all over again the next day.
And my kids never ride bikes.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
You don't see
I
anybody
just,
riding bikes, man.
right?
Dude,
I
my
don't
kid,
get it.
My kid has no. This is actually something I kind of want to talk about. So my son's 5.
Okay.
He has no desire to ride his bike.
Zero interest.
Zero interest. We got him a
My
bike
girl-
2 years ago to learn.
We have 3 bikes for
Spider-Man.
Sam.
It's got buttons on it that freaking webs come out. Like this bike is badass.
And these
for
awesome
3-4
helmets,
year-olds.
too.
Yeah,
The helmets are
awesome helmet.
amazing.
And he has no desire.
Dude, my Melissa's oldest is 9. And I have barely been able to teach him to ride a 2-wheeler. And it's not for the fact that like he can't do it. He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Bikes are like one of the, it's like, it's a weird thing.
He's
It's
like,
like,
well, I want a hoverboard.
oh my
What do you mean you
God.
want a hoverboard?
I don't get it. Like, it's almost like, is it a thing of the past? Are bicycles now like
I hope
I
not.
hope not, because it was the best, man. You could get. That was your form of transportation,
Dude, I
pegs.
like took pride
Dude,
in
I
my
remember
bike.
you have pegs, shocks,
right? Dude, I
remember
so
having
I was
somebody
never
on
the
the front pegs and the back pegs had in places. My tires were, I was riding on the rim, but sometimes we needed pegs. You need to take your friends for a ride.
So were you a BMX bike kind of guy,
So
or
I had a dyno air.
Okay, so you were a BMX. What
BMX
about
guy.
you? Were you?
I had a fake dyno. I had the Diamondback.
The Diamondback thing was sweet
Yeah,
though.
that was awesome. It was green. Remember that?
Yeah.
All right, so like because I kind of grew up in the country a little bit. The kid that was in my neighborhood, he was a rich kid. So that's my problem. Is I grew up around and went to school with nothing but rich kids until I moved here. Like, and then became like actually like, so I went to 8 years of Catholic school.
Okay.
Like K through 8 was all Catholic school, and I went to school in Southern Ohio with a lot of rich kids. Like, you know, parents were doctors and lawyers and executives, and you know, just high profile people. Whereas like me, my dad was basically a pipe fitter. You know, he's a blue collar guy.
Yeah.
You know, just like, you know, blue collar guy, blue collar money.
Yep.
We didn't do bad, but we didn't do good.
Right,
you know,
right.
we did average. We were average American.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. Like, he had a Trek bike, and Treks, if you know,
Oh, yeah.
Treks
Treks are
that's
nice.
expensive
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Very.
Yeah. So I wanted a Trek in the worst way. I think my dad even like saved up one year and was like, all right, I was like 13. He's like, I'm going to get him the Trek. Like I can't get him the bells and whistles one, but I can get a mid-range model, and I can put some bells and whistles on it, save myself some money.
As
And
we
I
go.
want to say, like, he probably spent, like, at the time, this is in the mid to late 90s, so he probably spent $700 on this bike.
Yeah.
Which, that's big for a Christmas gift in the
Huge.
90s. So,
massive
like,
anytime, man.
and I
That's a
will
big
get, so
gift.
this is a dad podcast. I'll give him a kudos to that, because that is one of my Christmas gifts that, like, I know for a fact that, like, he
Here
took
25 years later. You remember that shit.
and he took an interest in what I wanted and the certain bells and whistles that I wanted, and he had it customized. You know me, I'm a
Yeah.
custom person. Yeah, so like, he had it customized exactly the way I wanted it, and it was probably one of the coolest Christmas
That's
gifts
awesome.
that I've ever gotten, which is perfect to talk about.
Yeah,
this time
yeah,
of year.
absolutely.
And those are like mountain street bikes, right?
Yeah,
Like,
so I opted
I don't
for.
want to say mountain.
It is. No, it was. It was a mountain bike. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a mountain bike.
Stuff too, like you could do the hybrid street and trail.
All right, so mine wasn't that. Mine was just straight mountain bike, front shocks, no unishock in the back, solid frame, 21 speed. I didn't want the 8. Yeah, I wanted the 21 speed. I don't know why. The kid in the neighborhood.
Because it's something that's awesome, and you're like, I need it to be 21.
Well,
speed.
and it's because it's like the average was 12 or 18. If
Right.
anybody remembers mountain bikes, if you had mountain bikes, I don't know if you remember that or not.
we had
I had
one.
I had one way back. I had mine before my dyno.
So we were a weird group of kids. I don't even understand why the hell we did this. So like we loved mountain bike look, but we wanted to do
ride
BMX
'em like
shit.
BMX bikes.
Yeah, so like we did a lot of like trail stuff in the woods, and we were doing, you
Yeah.
know, like the little BMX trails like you were
Right.
talking about. We had ramps built. And
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And then I remember I fucking totaled this bike like 6 months after I got it. Was racing down a hill, kind of like what you were just talking about, on your bike and then you was crossing the Bellflower thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm racing down this hill, and I like have to make like a sharp like 90-degree turn. And I had
tumble over that
Well,
wheel.
my pedal caught the ground as I was making the turn, and it flipped me up, and I kind of did like one of these where like then I'm like on my front tire, and I'm coming up over the handlebars, and I'm like riding it like unicycle for a second, and then my weight just takes over and just
Boom.
you just do that. And then this bike was just smashed to smithereens. It was just fucking totaled. And then I remember they had a garage sale later on that summer, and a local bike shop owner guy was like, I'll give you $25 for it, you know, and probably took it and just
Flip that
fucking
my
thing
God,
and
man.
just made a fucking dime right there, you know?
I mean, do you remember? I mean, think about the 90s though with bikes. I remember having to lock up our bikes everywhere.
You remember how many bike shops used to be around?
I had
yeah.
a bike stolen from me.
Really?
Yeah,
bike-
but it was a night. Yeah, when I was, it was. It was the replacement to the bike that I
Jeez,
fucking
man, you had no
totaled.
luck with the bikes.
I don't have luck with anything. What is this? I got a modern day 2020 Arrowhead.
It's like
plug
that
in
movie
my
Jeepers
fucking.
Creepers. The guy's like throwing shit at tires and getting people on the side of the road. Man.
I mean, this really does look like something that you would actually like a little weapon that you could throw at somebody and stick in their forehead or something like that.
It's
you know,
terrible.
Yeah, I had a bike stolen from me. I was in 8th grade. It was at the Catholic school, and it was the replacement bike from the bike that I totaled. And I came outside one day, and it was just gone.
Yeah. The bikes were getting stolen like crazy. It was a big thing, like around us.
I remember that.
I remember a bunch of my brother's friends were over the
Nationwide
house, and my
bike.
mom's like, put all the bikes in the garage. And they did. These kids came over and took my brother's friend's bike out of our garage, stole it out of our garage. We came out, and it was gone. The way we found it, we were driving in my mom's car. It was me and my brothers, and our friend was with us, and we were going to the mall, and he looks over to his right on 306. He goes, "Hey, that's my bike."
Really?
Yeah, and
Sure
my
enough,
mom
it
pulled
was.
over, stopped the kid.
Really?
Sure enough, it was his bike.
Fuck with Carol, man.
Oh, so you didn't fuck around, man.
I did that. That was how I found mine too. Actually, it was like 2 neighborhoods over, and it was like I was walking because I didn't have a bike at that point, and I was like, that looks. I was like, that looks like my bike. And then I went home and I told my parents. They drove by and saw it in the front yard, and they're like, yeah, okay, we'll make a call on that. And they did. They actually called the local police, and they went, and the kid was 12 or 13, so like he shit his pants and fessed up just like that, you know.
It's like, what kind of parents? Like, so when you show up with a different
At
bike,
home,
and you're like, and you put it into your garage, and your parents like, where the hell's that bike from?
This was in their kid's front yard. It's like, how do you people not like you said, like
I borrowed it from somebody. Like, where? Okay, but no. This is a little weird. You don't just have somebody else's bike. I'm sorry.
in the garage or whatever. I would beat my kids.
Oh my
ass
god! I'm like, you
so
take that back
fucking
right
bad.
now.
Yeah. Oh, boy. And then
My
once
mom
you
knew, like, dude, Chris, my brother was like a klepto back in the day. So like we were at a store and he made me do a lot of stuff. I was the youngest. I listened to my brothers. We were at a store and he's like, hey, Steve, he's like, hey, take this. And he's like, put that in your pocket. He goes, Mom already paid for it. I'm like, okay. So I just putting like toys in my pockets, and we get home and I'm playing with them, and like we had these toys. My mom was like, where the hell did you get that? And I'm like, from the store. And she's like, no.
you bought them, don't you remember?
She goes, we didn't buy that. I'm like, so I was busted, man.
Oh yeah.
I
he
couldn't
Chris.
curse my mom, dude.
Fucking Chris.
Dude, I was like his pawn with everything.
Yeah.
Like my brother Chris was the middle child, and he was just the biggest instigator, and he would just manipulate me to do whatever he wanted. And I listened.
Wait,
of
so are
course.
you the youngest
I
or
was
the
the youngest
oldest?
of 3.
You're the
There's
youngest.
3 boys, yeah.
So you're the spoiled one.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
Oh, we were just
I was the one that was like, I had to do everything. Like my brothers would be like, you know, I've already done all the lawn mowing that I could do.
Right.
You got to do all that shit. You got to do this.
How
And
many
I was-
brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 2 older brothers, they're my brothers, and I have 2 stepsisters. One's older and one's
Right.
younger.
But okay. All right. And then you grew up with siblings too, right?
Just a brother. Yeah. So
But
I'm
are
a
you the
younger
youngest?
brother. I'm the older.
You're the
yeah,
oldest.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So and then you guys both have multiple kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So do you notice a relation between that from the youngest to the oldest, like that oldest being that like
Here's the way I
they
see
kind of the lightest way you can put it is they're fucking spoiled and they get special treatment.
the oldest, you mean, or the youngest?
The youngest.
Yeah.
The
See, my
youngest.
oldest, I don't know. They're both spoiled.
They're both my kids. Here's the thing. Sam is definitely spoiled. Ben doesn't give a shit about anything. Like he'll take whatever he can get. Right?
Yeah.
Sam's the one that's asking for things all the time. He's expecting things. That's the problem.
Which
He
one is
expects
older out of
all-
the 2?
Sam is older.
Sam is older.
But Ben is the devious one. He's the one that's
And that's the youngest one.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
the-
that makes sense. Like that
so
I
the
just
second born is crazy. We've all the people we've talked to, we've all decided that the second born seems to be the feral one.
for sure, because that's mine.
Yeah.
That is mine. My oldest, it's like I don't have to worry about
oldest is sweet.
anything at all. Yes, she's. Lord strike me dead. I'm totally fucked because she's a varsity cheerleader in high school and she's young and blonde. So I'm already like just pew.
Right,
You know,
right,
it's like,
right.
yeah, I'm fucked to begin with, you know. But like, she's a good kid all around.
Yeah.
The grades are good. Like, she doesn't slip up in school. She's got good friends. She's just a very like, she's more responsible than me. Plain and simple is she's more responsible than her middle-aged father almost, you know. Or not middle-aged, but you know. Like,
close.
Her middle 30s father, yeah. So she's more responsible than that. But my son though, oh man, he's the one that's just like
See, I don't know if it's because my kids are 5 and 3. So Gibbs, my oldest, there was I don't want to call it more parenting, but because it was always two on one, like lessons were learned very early. And so now when he messes up on something or whatever, I can look at him and say, Gibson, here's why we don't do this. Do you understand me? Yes, I understand. I'm not going to do it. And he typically doesn't. I mean, he'll slip up. He's a kid. You know what I mean? Like, and usually it's nothing major, but like but I'll be able to go back to that original lesson and be like, yes, I understand. You told me not to do this. Sloan, she's 3. And if I try and tell her not to do something, she looks at me and she'll just goes, I'm a princess. I'm like, what?
Oh, man.
Yeah, you're in
I'm
trouble.
like, no, listen to me. And then she'll just like stare off into space and just like wait for me to be done.
Yeah.
She'll be like, all right, I'm going to play now. I'm like,
You know what Ben does? If I yell at Ben, you know what he doesn't even let me finish what I'm telling him. He just walks away and goes in his room. He goes into his room and he slams the door and he locks it, and then he just sits in there for like 10 minutes. I'm like, he's punishing himself.
Just give me the punishment.
But he doesn't even care though.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. I'm like, dude.
I deal with so much of the same crap with my chick's youngest. She's 5. And like, because I'm playing the stepdad role, I can't like 100% come down the way I want to. But God damn it, I want to so bad sometimes, because like it's the same thing. It's like, so like we were even talking this afternoon, like before I even came in, we were actually starting to realize just the difference between like when you're the youngest and when you're the oldest sibling. So like it's actually become kind of apparent with blending two families together. My son actually came from a situation where he was the youngest, and now we're in a blending situation, and he's not now the youngest anymore. So he kind of like, in a way, when you're the youngest, you have that top dog position, because like you get that special treatment. I've got younger sisters. I've got, and I have two sisters. So there's the middle child, which the middle one always cries the middle child blues, and then the youngest is I get whatever the fuck I want, and my girlfriend has got a younger sister that's the same kind of way, like you could just tell, like, there's a different stigma. Like parents look at you guys when you're different, because I'm the oldest. So like, I know, like I've seen this happen firsthand, and then I'm watching it as I pass that down to my kids and watch it happen.
It's the oldest catches the brunt of everything.
For sure.
Because the parents are new at it, and they're like, it's boom, boom. Like, this is the rules, and you're catching everything.
Well, and at a young age too, like the older ones, so like the 4 or 5-year-olds, they understand like typically it's, you can do this, but here's what has to happen first. Right. Yeah. And so they can understand what the reward is. And so they'll do whatever it takes to get that reward. Like I was telling my kids the other day, I'm like, yes, you can watch your show tonight, but we have to make sure that this room's cleaned, and you guys need to clean your rooms too. Okay, fine. So Gibbs runs upstairs, cleans his room. Sloan just continues to play. Yeah. And he's like, Sloanie, we have to clean up so we can do our show. And she's just sitting there watching him do the whole thing. He went and cleaned her room. Yeah. He went and cleaned the whole living room. And then they both, she reaps the reward.
Right.
It's so true though. Cause I mean, then at that point you have nothing to threaten.
Right.
That's the problem. Like I told you the story before about.
Do you guys ever put water in your bourbon?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I've done it before.
It opens it up a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
We need to talk about some of the bourbon.
Oh, we'll get into that
tonight too. Just so we know.
But because like, Ben. So I had to threaten Sam and Ben with, hey, we're gonna get ice cream tonight, but Liz is working this night. And I go, you have to eat your dinner if you want to have ice cream. So Sam crushes his food, and Ben's just like, no. I'm like, just try it. He is such a little punk. He spits out the food that I told him to eat. I fed it to him. He goes, ugh, and he spits it out. I'm like, you know what? No ice cream for you, Ben. Sam's like,
disgusting.
He goes to his room on his own. He comes back out. I go, listen, we're going to go get ice cream, and you're not going to get any. He goes, okay. He walks out, grabs his plate, walks it to the garbage can, and doesn't always just dump the food in there. He drops the plate in there, and as he's doing it, he's staring me down. And I go,
and you don't want to say it because they're your own kids, but it's like, you defiant little motherfucker.
Dude,
you want to just be like,
instantly. I'm like, what the fuck? And Sam goes,
you defiant little.
cream?
Yeah.
Sam's like, worried about Ben. He's just like, can he still get ice cream? I'm like, no, no, he can't.
Sam's so good.
Yeah.
He's so worried about him all the time.
Sam's the best
He's like, don't worry,
kid.
Ben. I'll take care of it for him. I'm like, no, you won't. He has to do it, man.
Oh, like I said, my youngest, the stepchild youngest, is the same way. Like, just look me straight in the eye and just like I said, just like kind of mic drop it and be like,
yeah,
what
they might as well be flicking you off.
And it's like, what the fuck are you gonna do?
What now,
you know?
bitch?
Yeah,
What now? It's
exactly.
like,
and I'm like, God, I
so
can't do
frustrating.
anything actually because you're not really mine.
Here's the thing: is like I was warned about Ben by the doctors when he was 2 months old. They go,
We have an
"He's-
idea this kid might have an attitude.
they're like he is.
He slapped
gonna be a
us when he
problem."
came out.
Pretty much, like he's feisty and he is just full of it. You can tell. And they're like, you guys are gonna have a problem with him. I'm like, no chance. He's,
I got this.
no,
Look how
one
good
of-
Sam is. We're
Yeah,
great
I got
at
this.
this.
I got
thing.
this.
This kid is 100. They were 100% correct. This kid is just feisty. He does not care, and he is just. He could be mean. He's the sweetest little guy. Trust me, he's very sweet.
Oh, that's the same thing with this
but
little
he's
girl
got
too.
this mean streak. He's got this look on his face. Like, what? What are you gonna do?
Sloan will do this thing where it'll be nighttime, and she's kind of like me. She's a night owl. Like, she does not like to go to bed at all.
What are you like that too? Aren't? Didn't you say that last week here?
I'm always up late.
I guess that's probably why we're doing this on a
late.
Sunday night.
Right,
you know?
right. So I was trying to put her to bed, and she's just, when she's really tired, and she was exhausted, but she just didn't want to go to bed. And she's mean, and she doesn't like, she doesn't physically do anything, but she's just mean, you know?
Just an asshole.
Yeah, right.
Say it.
Yeah,
Just say it. She's an asshole.
Yes, she's an asshole. And
I call my kid. You're not a bad parent if you call
No.
your kids assholes,
Oh, I
okay?
call her
because
worse.
I call my kids.
We've
Yes,
said it
much
on here
worse.
before. We've said it on here
I
before.
yeah, exactly. I love my kids' death.
But I was like, Sloan, I'm done with you right now. It is time for bed. Put your shit away. I will tuck you in, and then it is done. And she goes, Daddy, can we snuggle?
She knows, man. They know already.
Oh
and
my, you manipulative little bitch. Yes, we're gonna snuggle.
She knows. She knows how to cut to the core.
So this
real
is
quick.
and this is the problem then too. Then women know at a young age they can manipulate men
Yep.
very
They know.
very easily. You know, with just all you gotta do is bat them eyes, and
Yep.
you know, like all of a sudden,
And I
like they're
fall
gonna
for
get
it, too.
Yeah, because that relationship because my girlfriend says it to me all the time. She's like, you and your daughter, and I'm like, well, of course. I mean, like, why would it? Like, of course, like she's my first.
Yeah.
and she, you know, she's going on 15 now.
It's the
So like,
daughter thing, man.
and we're like in now like a whole new part of like our relationship together because we've like, you know, I'm recently divorced, or I should say recently. I've been divorced for a while now, but like, you know, now with a girlfriend and a blended family, like I've got this whole new relationship that I'm developing with my daughter, and it's great. And I feel like I'm actually starting to get away so much from like more of like I've been in that position a lot with the princessy and like she gets what she wants and all that stuff. Once you hit like 15, like there's like something that kind of shifts, and you kind of get more into the development mode of like, all right, now, like, you know, I did like baby you and you are like my little girl, but I got to start breeding you now for like the real world. And I got to start like, you know, preparing you for real life shit. Sure. You know, so like things are starting to get like a little more real now. And I'm not so, you know, oh, it's okay. I'm going to shelter you. You know, I'm going to shelter you from it. It's like, no, like we're in high school now. So these are the formative years. Things are getting real now, so you got to start, you know, stepping up responsibility.
Like, there's shit that's important.
Yeah, you got exactly.
Yeah,
dude.
right,
You got to
for
start stepping up responsibility. You got to start stepping up, like, you know, just.
Well, I think at that age, like, consequences become your own. You know, when you're a kid,
right?
Like,
Yeah, it's like
even-
you're
even
15
like-
years old. You know right from wrong
right.
at this point.
When you're 10, 11, even 12, like, you can go do something in the real world, and guess who's footing the bill?
Your parents,
Mom and
for sure,
dad.
yeah.
For
you know,
sure,
somebody is going to
100%.
foot the bill for you when you fuck
no
up.
matter how bad you fuck
Right.
up, they're
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Once
It's
you get into
responsibility.
15, 16, like, guess what? You got to take responsibility for
Yeah,
your
so
actions.
You know what
yeah.
you're doing, yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
so if you can work, you're gonna fucking pay for it.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
like I mean, I had to, like, on my 16th birthday, I went and got a job. That's what I
working,
did.
yeah.
On my 16th birthday, I went and got a
my
job. I
first day
got
of
off the
school
bus.
at Menor High, I walked to Tops for my interview.
I remember when you worked at Tops.
Oh, yeah.
I do remember when you worked at Tops.
And that was the first day of high school. I walked over to Tops for my interview to get a job at 15. Because that's what, like, my brothers were doing it. Like, my mom told me, like, you're 15, you could get a job legally. go get a job. I had to. And I wanted to because I knew that if I want to get anything, I'm gonna have to pay for it.
Things were so different back then too, because like I don't feel that kids do that as much as they used to. Because I was the same way. Like I got a job at a pizza shop.
Not even kids. It's not even kids. Like I remember, my dad was like, "Hey, you can work now. I know a guy. Actually, I was working at 14 or something like that. He got me a job where it was a body shop. And
no shit, you worked at a body shop?
I mean, I was 15. I was
so did I
floors.
though.
I was sweeping.
You have to remember, I was a
taping
car
cars.
guy. So was I. I was taping cars off. I was detailing. What body shops you work at?
Is this little place in Eastlake off of 361st?
I know that. Okay, like one of the ones off to like the left or the right, like on those little. Really? Okay.
It's a little shop. And
I worked off of one on Tyler Boulevard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the old Mako building.
So he would drop me off and he'd be like, "Wear your mask and don't smoke cigarettes." Like, okay.
All right. And you're 15 years old. Don't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, all right, whatever. And so, but like, because
so different.
The old timers in there, they're like, they don't wear a mask or anything like that. They're just spraying away and they're lighting up their Winstons and everything else. And I'm just sitting there, I'm sweeping it. Place was freaking immaculate, you know? And, you know, you had to keep overspray off and everything. I don't know. It was awesome. And then once I was legally allowed to work, I went and got a job at Davatino's.
Yeah.
And I washed dishes back there and just like burnt my freaking hands every single night.
Dude, I did dishwashing at a party center back in the day when I was 13.
So you want to know what's
there, and I was like, he goes, "Hey, you want to make some money?" I'm like, I have nothing else to do. So it's like a Friday and Saturday night. I'm up at this party center till 11 o'clock at night.
All I wanted to do was make money.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm 12 or 13 and I'm up at this place till 11 o'clock at night. And my parents were like, good.
Yeah. So
I've been money.
I've been the same way. I've always like trying to been hustling since I was like, you know, probably about like 14 too. But like mine is like actually completely backwards from you. You started off working in a body shop underage, and then when you became legally 16 to work, you became a dishwasher. I worked illegally as a dishwasher, and then I worked in a custom hot rod shop when I was 16. Once I was legal to work, and that was at Willoughby Brewing Company. I washed dishes after hours there. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. I was like
I worked there for a little while.
I was 14, 15 years old. Yeah,
dude.
And then you know how I lost that job? I got hit by the car. That's how I lost the job. I got hit by the car and I fucked up my ankle, and like I think I had like a badly sprained ankle. And I mean, like, you know, you're 15, it's only down for a couple weeks or something like that. But at that point, like I was under the table, like being paid cash. It was like, he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, we don't need him no more.
Yeah, I don't think kids are doing it, but it's not even about kids. Like people in their early 20s can't fathom like working and going to school at the same time. Like I run into this a lot with people that we hire, and it's like, well, I can only work till like 10 o'clock on Tuesdays. Well, like, why? Well, I have class that night. What do you mean you have class that night?
Yeah.
So like, what time does class start? They're like, well, it's like 6 o'clock. Like, all right, well, your shift is over at 3.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Like,
what are you doing with those?
Well, I have to make sure I have time to study. I'm like, well, what are you doing the other days when you get off at 3?
Yeah, right.
Like,
dude,
I don't like to be a dick about it.
No, but it's true though. I mean, in high school we played sports, so I had baseball every single day,
right?
And I would work when I was done there, and then on Sundays I would work my 9-hour shift,
right?
And then like,
you know what I think it is you wanted to do those things, right?
Yeah.
Like you wanted to play baseball.
Yeah.
Because I did the same thing. I would play football and then I would go to my job and then I would go home and I would sleep and I would get up and I would go to school. Like that's just what you did, right? I don't know if it's just learning the routine early or whatever it is, but like I wanted to do all of those things. I wanted to play ball, and then I also wanted to make money so that on the weekends I could go out to the movies or I could go do whatever it is that I wanted to do, and I didn't have to ask my parents for money, because then if you ask your parents for money,
you want to buy, and you can do what you want to do.
I came from broke parents, so like I've learned at a very early age, like if you want something, you got to go get it. Like you got to work at it yourself. So like I was like, I mean, before my first marriage, I was 19, 20 years old, and I had 2 jobs. Like I was working, I was landscaping, or I was in between like landscaping, working at a warehouse, slinging boxes, and then I was slinging pizzas at night, like delivering pizzas. Like literally just fucking like nothing like crazy, just literally just driving around delivering pizzas and fucking drinking beer. It was like that's what I did. I just worked.
It's like these kids have like some type of like FOMO of like missing something. I mean, you're not missing anything. If you just go work and then go to school and do what you have to do, you could survive. You're perfectly fine.
Yeah, right. But
we all did it. Maybe that's it.
But
Maybe
again,
because all
I
of us
think
did
that
it.
we all wanted to do it though.
Like you said, there's a
Like,
certain
'cause I
drive,
remember
there's a
missing
certain
out
hustle.
stuff. I remember working at the pizza shop. Like
Yeah.
throughout high school,
that's
me and
fantastic.
Witterman were managers at East of Chicago Pizza.
Oh man, I love
And
their
so
pizza.
like
so good.
every Friday night I worked.
Yeah.
So like if there was shit
Right?
going on Friday nights, like I wasn't there.
It's gonna be there when you get off.
Like yeah, right.
It's
I would
gonna
get
be
off.
there when you
By
get
the
off.
time we
It's
closed down
all
the shop,
fine.
it was 11:30, 12 o'clock. Like
Right?
I would page someone or something like that, be like, "Hey, still going on? Like, where you guys at?" Or I would drive
or we would
around
come
and try
hang
and
out at
figure out
East
where the
Chicago.
cars were.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So I worked at a drive-through beverage store.
Oh, yeah.
/ pizza shop. So
What,
the
Luigi's?
dude, so you had a
Luigi's
guy
or
that
Longa?
was
Or, yeah.
you had a guy that was was the one at the corner of 306
Yeah,
and Lakeshore.
Luigi's. I
Yeah,
worked there, I
Luigi's.
worked there too at one point.
No, you didn't.
Not when you were there, but I did at one point. Like probably when I was like 20 years old, because I was coaching baseball at Menor High.
I worked there when I was 20
maybe it was later or earlier. No, because I was coaching at the time.
because
So maybe it was-
I
maybe it was
also
later.
too. Do you remember Brittany and Tiffany used to work there? Brittany Koschel and Tiffany
I was there
Krause.
with Parisi, Maddie Lane, and like Eddie Zinkowski. I think were there at the
Wait,
time.
were you at the other Luigi's
I was at the one at
location?
306. We're up by
You
my
were
mom's
at that
house.
one too?
So it was probably after you then.
Okay, must have been. Like, cause I actually like I was kind of in with that family, so like I was kind of in and out of employment there. Like,
What was the
so like, all right, so like I started there when I was 16, and then like I left for a while, and then I went into the body shop thing, and then Mr. Paoli died.
Yeah.
and then I ended up at Mr. Paoli's funeral, telling Jerry, "Hey, if you need anybody, and if you need any help around the shop, like I'm be willing to come back."
'cause
Because
I used to work there on weekends mostly because I worked at another job.
I always worked during the week.
Okay, so I worked on the weekends.
Because I was always doing band shit on the weekend.
Yeah.
Like that's how far back it goes. Like 20 years doing fucking.
Because
Like,
Ian, you had the
know,
house in Eastlake when I was there too. So I was like on and off in there, and I remember walking Jerry
Yeah, 'cause
to
you
the
would
car
come
all the
over
time
with a
at
bunch of
night
pizza.
with all the money. Yeah,
Yeah.
Come with pizza, and I'd come with like
A
beer.
beer, yeah.
I had so I was 20. I was over 21 then because I was
Yeah.
bringing like 40s over and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
like I remember.
Do you remember the night that somebody drunk crashed into the
remember
front
that.
of that?
I remember
I was working that night. I was working that night. If you actually can find a newspaper article from 15 years ago in the News Herald, I was front page interviewed on that news for that fucking thing. And I was standing. Like, so it was actually really fucking weird because where the guy crashed at, I would always stand there and talk to, talk on the phone. Like, cause you have to remember, this is early 2000s, men are on the lake, cell phone reception. If you guys remember anything about that, it was
nothing.
fucking garbage.
Yeah,
No
there's
matter
nothing.
what carrier you had, if you were anything
The lake would fuck
past
everything
Lakeshore and north,
Yep.
your signal just disappeared.
Screwed.
So I'm standing there and I'm on the phone. Like that was always my spot where I would pace back and forth because I had to
get a reception.
Yeah, because I had to be outside the building. The building
I
is all
remember
constructed from like brick in like the 1940s. So like it was like a compound. Like you were off the grid, with these old analog, cell phone signals. So like I was there and I was on the phone and my call dropped actually. And for some reason, the only reason why my phone was working was if I was in the drive-thru. So I moved and went into the drive-thru. And then 3 minutes later, some dude comes and hops the curb and smacks right into the fucking garage door. And like I see his just head like hit the steering wheel and shit. And I'm just like, whoa, what is going on? I'll call you back. Yeah. Call 911 and then like all that. It was that thing right
Three
there.
of these on the scene.
Yes, and he got that in his tire and yeah.
I
But
remember that. Though.
You
That was
remember
great.
that?
I remember seeing because I remember driving by it like a day or two later.
and it was all boarded
and it was
up.
all
and-
boarded up, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What the
Wow.
fuck happened?" And then I think I asked you because
Were you working there when that
I
happened?
think it was
Yeah.
after you worked there.
Okay. No, it might have been before.
Or
'Cause
around the
you
same
just came
time.
home.
God, this
You had
had
just come
Yeah,
home from
yeah. I was just coming home from
Vegas.
From Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
California.
have to guess this would probably be. I remember it was chilly out, and I would say,
Oh wait.
no, God, I was gonna say like 2004 or 2005.
Okay, so then
It was
Really?
like way, yeah, because
So
I was pretty
maybe-
young. I was because I know
So
that I
then
didn't.
maybe.
I know I didn't work at that place past like 2005, so it had to have been then.
Oh.
Like I
So
know I
then
didn't work
maybe
there.
somebody
past that.
sent me an article.
maybe yeah,
Because my parents used to send me like local news
Oh,
articles
right,
all the
yeah,
time.
that place, man. I was coaching baseball at the high school. I was the JV coach there, and I remember I was working the drive-through on Friday and Saturday nights. So like
Oh,
these kids would
man.
roll through like
Your players would come in.
they would too. They'd be like, "Dude, back, dude, let me sell some beer." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
So, well, that's quite a bit of change from when I was there. Because when I was there that many years ago, they were slinging bud out of the fucking drive-thru.
Oh, I'm sure there was a lot of stuff going on, man.
Oh, dude, the dude was slinging major fucking bud out of the.
I was coaching high school baseball, and these were like these kids were friends with the
athletic director.
Well, no, like the Coach Taylor's son. Like they were at his age, like the youngest.
Coach
son.
Taylor, I haven't heard that word in years.
And he was like, his son was friends with all these guys, and like I'm like, I know all these kids, so like I'm not gonna sit here and can you imagine that gets around like back selling us beer, like. I'd be fired.
Oh yeah.
And then it would be like,
Coach Taylor was one of my homeroom teachers.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I know. I didn't play sports in high school, but I had him for homeroom. So
he's an intense guy. Like
I sat next to Parisi. So like you know, I was kind of like lumped in with the jocks over there because like Parisi's like one of his main dudes, obviously.
Right,
so like I was like
he
always
was like big time.
If we were fucking up in homeroom, I was guilty by association because of that.
For sure,
that
man.
fucking guy.
But no, like I mean, he was my coach all that time, and then like when I started coaching with him, like working with him, he's a completely different person. Obviously,
sure, yeah.
You're not a student anymore. The relationship
equal,
changes.
But
the
man,
relationship
him
changes.
as like a high school coach, terrifying.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing worse than if you're playing baseball and you know what baseball's like. If you fuck something up when you're up to bat, and then you look down the third base line for a signal from him after that, and you know you messed up, that look of you want to talk about like the parent saying, "I'm not mad, I'm disappointed." Look, that's the look again, when you look down the third base line. It's like
I could see that.
You, like,
I can't even call you my son right
look over
now.
your shoulder at him, you're like, and he's just like looking at you. He's just like, and he looks like he wants to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Like
He
that
probably
was.
does.
He does. That was a terrible feeling.
But yeah, no, I mean, going back to like work ethic and things like that, like I just don't understand now. I mean, adults. There are adults in the workplace today that just won't or can't fathom doing anything other than what is required. And like,
oh my
And
God.
that's it. You don't go above and beyond.
And I think it's again, I think back when we learned how to do all that kind of stuff, it was things that we wanted to do. Like you want to go have a good time on the weekends when you have time off, so you went and made money for that reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I said, my parents didn't give me shit, so
Yeah.
I had
Think about
if
it
I wasn't
this.
going to do it,
Here's
if I didn't have the money, I wasn't going to do it.
Here's the thing is, if I had to get money from my parents, like, and my parents weren't very well off when I was growing up, like, my parents did an amazing job with us, and I never wanted for anything. You know what I mean? Like,
you didn't think about it
needed
like
for
that.
anything. But if I needed money from my dad, like, he would do this. It was just ridiculous the amount of work that I had to do to earn $20. Like it was much better to go slang pizzas or tape off cars or whatever.
Oh my God! So I'm doing
Wash
the same thing, almost the same thing with my son, because my son, unfortunately, so like he was the youngest before like my stepkids came along, and he's got this mentality of like what we were talking about with like the youngest being the like entitlement kind of deal, where it's like now when he comes over, he splits pretty much like not quite half his time, but I don't have like a super consistent schedule. It's like we my kids are old enough that they just kind of come back and forth whenever we have like everything just kind of works out. We have certain days that we do, but then there's also like, again, like my kids are older, so it's like if there's any other free time, it means that like my doors are always open, like in and out. My kids can come in and out, even though they live with their mom. 20, 30 minutes.
They live close by. I mean,
they're like 15, 20 minutes.
That's not bad.
I mean, I'm in Painesville Township. They're in Chardon. Okay. So it's an easy like 12-mile commute back and forth. It's not bad. So that's why it's like we have like our set visitation, but then it's like, again, like last week when we were talking, because I was like, we came to an end because I was like, oh, I gotta go pick up my daughter, and it's like I'm still like involved with like other things that like it's not like quite like a visitation thing. Like I still see them outside of that. Yeah. That we're we've got that going. You know, so it's like I don't even. Fuck.
You're talking about like the youngest having like that entitlement.
Yes. So like going in with that, like having that like that. Trying to like, he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Like he's like now like it's almost like that role, like when he comes with us, like it's been taken away from him, and trying to navigate that is just like it's tough, man. Like I thought like blending a family would be easy. Like we got we've got every age range under the sun. We all get along. Like this should be no problem. Like we can fuse this together. Well then. COVID happened.
COVID.
Yeah, hello COVID. Hello COVID. They knock at the door, and like I said, it was like, you know, it was just all of those components when it came together. It was like, holy shit,
We're all here in this house.
Yeah, it turned into a game. Like I said, that game of Big Brother. It turned into Big Brother. So it was like, you know, a lot of worlds were just like completely flipped upside down. Like roles that like you used to have, where like I used to be the youngest, or I used to be the oldest. You know, all those like things were just completely flipped around, and it's taught a lot.
It's
taught
dynamic.
a lot.
Like, I mean, you know, in my house, I was youngest, you know, with my brothers, and then at my dad's house with my stepsisters, I was not the youngest anymore. My sister was.
Did you notice a big?
A little bit. I mean,
in the way you were treated, or like
kind of. I mean, yeah, a little bit. I could see it. It was so early on, though. I was like 5.
Oh, see, yeah.
I was
like,
young, and we were all young.
So like
My oldest brother was 9 when that whole thing happened.
So like my parents got divorced. I was 14, and I was like both my parents kind of like went off and did their own thing. My dad met another woman and got married pretty early on, and then my mom just kind of went into straight like almost just party mode. Like, I'm single now. I'm just going to fucking live it up, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, it was one of those, like, I kind of, like, essentially raised myself a little bit. But, like, I kind of didn't even have, like, that dynamic of just having, like, you know, just having anything grounded really early. Like, I hit, like, 14, 15. It was just kind of like, I was just, like I said, I went and fucking got a job. I had to start working. I had to start, like, you know, like, shit wasn't given to me. Shit was not being handed down to me. Like, my mom was, you know, waitressing and just doing what she could to get by, and you know, like, I mean, you know,
it's all different, man. It's
single mom stuff. So it's like, I had to go out and work, you know, like, so you just learn it at an early age. And like, that's the thing is I'm trying to put that out, like, you know, to my kids now, like, if you want it, you got to go get it. Like,
for sure.
It's not coming to you. My son sometimes is so entitled that like, it's just like so many of these like influencers that you see on like YouTube and shit like that. And that's the thing is like, you know, like there's like this sense. He asked me the other day, like I gave him a chore and he was like, "Are you going to pay me for it?" And I was like, "Yeah, right." Like, I was like, "Are you fucking like,
it's the
that's
game
what
of
we're doing?"
life.
Yes.
It's
like
the game of life.
The game, you know,
Does the game
like,
of life have like influencers on it as well? Does it have YouTube on it? And
I'm just saying, like,
put it this way,
unrealistic
all the
expectations
unreal.
for what
It
you're.
literally is. I mean, you could look at
Unreal
social
expectations
media.
is the best
You
way to
can
put
look,
it.
You can look at TV and social media and be like, "This is what life's like," right? No, it's not, because you live in you're middle class. You have to go do shit. You're not gonna be on YouTube. You're not gonna be a YouTube star. I mean, you could.
Sure.
You could do it.
Yeah.
But realistically, you're probably not gonna do it.
No,
But guess what? If you're going to do it, do you know how much work that takes?
The most
You know what I mean?
work.
Somebody's doing that work. Like, you know, you get to a certain point and it becomes easier. But at the end of the day, like, that is still
It's
like,
work.
Like, if you want to be a YouTube star, like, trust me, the amount of work that Steve and I put in just to promote this podcast, like, you know, whatever, like we cater to a very small audience.
Yeah.
But that's
right?
what's cool about it, though.
And that's what, and we do it for us.
But
like,
it's,
it's not
at the
for-
same time, it's a shit ton of work.
But even that, right? And we're not trying to make money off of this. It is just like, we like putting the content out. We get to meet a lot of cool people. We get to reconnect with a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
We love doing it for us. But that's a ton of fucking work.
Like I
If
said,
you wanna get
going
into
back to the band
millions
stuff.
and millions and millions, like, that is a shit ton of
that's
work.
a
And so, like,
full-time-
it's not
it's
just
crazier than
like
a full-time job.
Yeah, it's
Well,
you're-
just like what we were saying with the band stuff, like there's a lot of work that goes into that. There's, you know, there's a lot of just, when you've got like in a situation with you know, 1 kid, 2 kid, 5 kids, or even just single and working a full-time job, like there's just, you know, you can only spread yourself so much, you know, before you're just you're at your end, like
Right.
you're
You have
burning the
nothing
candle
left.
at both ends,
And,
you know.
and I think just to kind of go back is it all comes down to what are your priorities,
Right.
Right. Like, if you want to be able to afford to go out and do stuff, or you want to be able to afford to go buy that cool freaking hot rod that you want to work on, or you want to be able to afford a hoverboard, whatever it is that you want, you have to work for it. Like, you have to then prioritize and say, okay, I can either, you know, what is it? My dad used to say, or, you know, it's kind of a common thing. You shit in one hand, hope in the other, and see what one full
shit when it was
fills
the
up
other.
faster.
Yeah.
Guess what? Like, you
shit's
can
gonna
hope
pile
and
up.
pray all you want, but go ahead and just make it happen.
You
My
sit
chick
there
and I
hope to win the lottery.
Right, yeah.
Well, that's never going to happen. So you got to make your money somehow.
And you know what? If it does, great.
Fantastic.
Good for you. But what are you going to do if you don't build that work ethic and you don't build that, I guess, just like personality to be able to say, this is what I want to accomplish and here's how I'm going to do it? Like, go ahead and win the lottery. See how far that takes you.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
You might
trying.
have some cool shit for a few months.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying. Like now that I was talking about like that mind change, that mind change, like with like the way I'm raising a 15-year-old. Like your mind shifts to a different like almost just like I'm like you're wanting to like promote that like go out and get it. Go like life ain't gonna come to you.
Nothing
It's
does.
not nothing is coming to you. Go out and fucking grab that shit. If you want it, you got to go get it.
Yep.
Because I'm a perfect example of that. I'm a perfect example of being in a situation with employment that I fucking hated and just wanted to do something for myself. Hit me with that, buddy. And it was like I went out and did it. Like, just went out and made a change and did it,
because and we talk about this too. Like,
I used to think to
going
myself all the
doctor or
time.
something like you.
I still got to work on that, but
Well, we all do. We talked about this. Like, you can think about it all you want. The doctor's not coming to you. And this goes with if you think there's something wrong with, like, if your kid has an issue.
Yep.
If there's something like maybe my kid has anxiety. Maybe my kid has something. Well, no one's going to come find
believe me, I got 5 of them. I've dealt with these things.
Yeah, so it's like, but
I've got every age range under the sun. I've dealt with it.
So I mean, it's like those doctors, they're not coming to you. You have to go seek it out and do it. That goes with work. That goes with us going to the doctor to see if, hey, maybe there's something wrong with me, but no one's going to tell you that something's wrong with you. You have to go get it taken care of.
Yeah, and that's like you said, you got to like sometimes you just got to go and grab life by the fucking balls.
That's it.
You know,
because if you don't, then nothing's going to happen. You're just going to sit there and
Well, I mean, look at us, like, for the podcast, 2 years, a year and a half, something like that. Like, man, that'd be cool to talk about dad stuff.
right?
yeah.
That'd be really cool.
So all right,
But,
just
like,
I wonder if we should do this.
And then we did.
And then
All
we
right,
finally
so-
said, what the fuck are we doing? Let's just do
so
it.
when did that happen? When was the first inclination of this? Like right now,
The very first was probably
when was
our
the
kids-
first bread idea?
Probably when our kids were really, really little.
Okay,
And,
which we take it back?
2-3 months. Like probably Sam was probably 2-3 months old. I remember us sitting at your place, and
So what year are we in? Taking back.
2016.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Probably
right. So 4 years ago.
2016.
Okay, cool.
And so Sam was probably like three months
he was
old,
young,
something
yeah.
like that. I don't remember what we were over there for. We were maybe just hanging out, and we were talking about infants and like our kids, because Gibbs was probably like 7 months old or something.
just talk about telling
and I remember
stories.
just like being like, dude, I remember when Gibbs did that. Like, and Chelsea said something to me. She's like, wow, look at you guys. You're not talking about freaking chicks or video games anymore. You're talking about your kids. I'm like, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
but
yeah.
what are we going to talk about? That's
Yeah.
what's going on. And then nothing for a long time. But eventually we were like,
About 2 years old. 3 years old.
yeah. And then it was probably like a year after that. We were down in the basement. At that point, there was like 4 of us in my basement. And we were supposed to be there watching like an Ohio State football game or a Cavs game or something. And we were just sitting around having a drink, and we were talking about our kids. And like, I like almost remember like being out of my body and like seeing this and being like, what, why are these like 4 30-something-year-old dudes just sitting there talking about their kids and like
sometimes
talking
it
about like
clicks.
how to like change diapers
Yeah,
or
and
it just clicks.
and
or something.
It just
I was like,
clicks.
dude, we need to do something about
Fuck
this.
yeah.
And then we kept talking about it more and more. Like, okay, let's set up a camera.
Yeah, we
and
just kept
let's-
talking
Let's set up a camera and try to catch some funny videos of us being parents.
Okay.
And then we were like, oh, all right, him and I were like, let's go to it was called BurgerFi.
Yeah, that's right.
And we put the phone up
Which
on the dash, and we're recording ourselves with the kids, like interacting with the kids, and it was a funny video.
And it was so staged and
It
like
was. We were trying because we didn't know what the hell we were
didn't know
doing,
what to do.
but we had these ideas. We were like, we should do this, and then it kept going down the rabbit hole. We kept thinking of these ideas, and then there was like a show that our wives went to together.
Oh yeah, they wanted to go out, and we're like, yes, go out.
And we'll take the kids. We had all 4 of the kids with
Yeah,
us.
at that point there was 4 kids, and you guys came over my house.
Yep.
And we were hanging out, and they left. We didn't even know what they were doing. And we were like, whatever. Me and Steve got 4 kids under the age of
3.
Gibbs wasn't even 3 yet.
That wasn't 3 yet.
So 2 2-year-olds and 2 infants.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we got this, you know.
Right.
And we were fine.
Yeah, we were fine.
Wait, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
So anytime I ever found myself in this predicament, there was always beer involved.
Oh yeah, there was.
Okay,
Well, there was
thanks. All
probably
right,
whiskey.
all right.
involved.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Because anytime I ever find myself in these situations, like these dads
Actually-
are always secretly
actually,
drinking.
I remember we had the grill going,
Yeah.
and we had like hot dogs and hamburgers and brats and like
All right,
all
so
that stuff. Like,
so
we were
we're
drinking,
going
we were
straight
having good-
man here,
Yeah,
meat
yeah.
and beer,
Oh, yeah,
meat
yeah,
and beer.
100%.
All right, yeah.
And so the kids were like, we were playing outside with them and everything and having a good time. And then it got late, and because you guys were still over. So
Yeah,
I
'cause
think
the
like the
girls were out
older
late.
boys were upstairs, and we had the young ones like sleeping like in the
Like a carrier or
carriers
something, or like
whatever.
a swing or something.
Yeah. And then we were just hanging out, like watching TV or like probably scrolling through comedy shows or something like that. And the girls get home and they're fucking wasted.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you guys had a good time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did you guys even do?
And we didn't even know where they were going.
Yeah, we had no idea. We just knew they were out.
We just thought, all right, that's just the guys hanging out tonight.
Right.
Cool.
And so like, oh, we were at Cat and Nat. I'm like, what the fuck is Cat and Nat? You ever heard of Cat and Nat?
Yeah.
All right, so Cat and Nat is these Canadian chicks who are moms, and they go on tour and sell out like they were at Playhouse Square, sold out the venue, and they basically get on stage and they drink wine and they tell funny stories about being moms.
Are they hot?
Yeah, they're pretty hot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
but like their shows are crazy. Like they have male strippers come in.
What
and
the
like,
fuck?
Like
Like,
your
serious?
ticket comes with like 2 glasses of wine, and like so like all these moms are in this auditorium. Just fucking
Could you imagine?
slanging wine.
Could you imagine if that was set up in a reverse
Dude,
way,
that's
where
what
it's
we
like
said.
it's a bunch, it's an arena of men,
a bunch
and
of
we're gonna
strippers.
bring us strippers in, and you're gonna. Could you imagine how?
That's what we said. We're like, where's the dad version?
Oh
Let's
my
buy
god,
tickets
my
right
wife,
now.
or my girlfriend would be the most. Gonna be my wife eventually.
Yeah.
Here, she knows it too. She will be the most fucking psychotic, fucking
Oh, you guys go
insanely
to that
bitch.
show, those
with a-
sick bastards.
Oh my
Those
god! Like,
girls jumping on
I
trampolines.
I wouldn't even be allowed to park in a parking garage within 10 miles of
There'd
that
be
thing.
protesters
She's so
outside.
fucked.
going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
But that's what we
assholes.
said, right? They're like, we looked it up. We're like, all right, where's the dad version?
But at the same
And there
time,
wasn't one.
I'm also that dude that's like with my chick, like fucking go do it. Like, I don't
and-
give a
and we
shit.
did. And we're like, go have fun.
Fucking go
Yeah,
ahead,
all
you know.
about
Like
it.
yeah.
So we tried to look up the dad version, and there wasn't one.
Of course there's
We're
not
like-
because women are psycho. There's no, of course
Well,
there's
wait
not
a
one.
minute. Like,
Oh, come on, where's the dude stuff?
they're
Yeah.
really not talking
Where's
about
the
anything
dad
earth-shattering.
I'm gonna get you guys in so much trouble by saying this shit.
No,
by the-
no,
you know.
Our wives are very.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
Karen,
I mean,
don't
they've
listen
heard
probably
this
either.
story before. Like they like it's hilarious. And so like we tried to look it up, and there wasn't anything.
Yeah.
And so then we started looking up their content. And it's good. Like they're
really good.
funny.
They're funny, yeah. We
They're
tried everything.
natural. They're best friends that
You
like,
can you can't deny when something is entertaining,
It works.
and when
Right.
something captures your when it captivates you. Like
Like,
it's like
they're funny about it. They're like, yeah, my kids are assholes, and I can't believe this happened. And like, it's funny.
You found a common ground, a connection.
And then we
right?
try to
Like-
do
So
something.
we
like
try
that.
to like, I don't want to say imitate what they were doing,
But at the same time,
like,
we kind of did. So Marco was with us.
yeah.
Make
Marco
the
was
dad version.
Marco was taking a video of us, and we just
Yeah.
sat at this table in his basement. We're like, here we go.
Yeah.
And we were trying so hard to be funny
Yeah.
and trying
And
to
we're
do
just not those
But we just
people.
didn't have that like improv.
Don't you hate it when it's
to
so
do that.
over embellished and like
And Marco's like, you guys have to be a little more animated. I'm like, this is not us.
Yeah.
And then we kind of sat down and we're like,
let's just
What
talk about
What
podcast.
is us?
let's just
Yeah.
talk about real
And I was
shit.
like, honestly, when we talk about like parenting or we talk about sports, we talk about anything, it's typically we're sitting down, we're having a drink, and like we just get in a conversation. We usually start debating something, whether we're on the same side or not. It gets a little heated. We have a good time with it. Say, all right, man, see you tomorrow. And that's it. Like,
If hey, listen, if I didn't hear another better reason to raise a fucking drink and like cheers some shit like that, you know, because you got like 3 dudes that all like have known each other for a long
right.
time that, you know, like have all lived very different lives
Right,
and
yeah.
just like experienced so much different shit. Like so many different stories can just be crossed and examined and compared and just like, you know, advice be given. Like there's so many little things. Like last week for the episode that these people aren't going to hear, which really sucks. Like there was some good shit that was in there that it's like, there was some good shit that was in there. It was like, I just like as a dad or as a, you know, just a significant other, like just like examining things differently. That like I went and like did things differently this week. Good. You know?
Good. Like that's what it's, I mean, we find that all the time too. It's like you could really pull something from it.
You can, and it was like I really think about it. Was I went home and I was like I couldn't fucking sleep last week when I went home. Like I was like I got home and it was like 8:30. I'm like, what are we fucking doing? Like we're gonna, like I'm cracking open a beer and I'm like I'm gonna put some football on. Like you know what are we doing? It's just like getting my kids ready for remote learning tomorrow and like having to do payroll at work and I'm on the couch like what are you doing? And I'm like. Yeah, what
activities can we do?
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, I guess I'll just fucking watch a Netflix and fall asleep at this point. I don't know. Like, yeah,
but it's cool, man. It really gets the wheels turning. Though.
It does.
It makes you
really
think
does.
about what you're doing.
It really does.
The cool thing is, like we said from the beginning, like, you know, would it be cool to be this like giant show? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, of course. But everybody wants to be the biggest and the baddest of everything they do. Yeah.
That would be a job. Like it's still not a job for us, which is a lot of fun. And we can talk to real dads. Like we're not talking to, you know, celebrity dads that like have
you had said that you had said that yeah. But wouldn't it be cool though at the same time though to cross-examine some of that kind of stuff when you get some of like when you're like you get like you got Tommy and you got me and you got like you know so many other like just buddy like all of us just like went to high school together and then like if you could get somebody of that profile to be like you know what I would just like to like you know hey I'd like because most people like that were not born into success.
No, they had to make it.
They worked for it. Like everything that we've just been talking about right now, like you fucking went out and you grabbed it. Like you're like, I want something more, so I'm gonna go and get something more. So these people all did that. So I would like to see like I would like to talk to somebody like that.
It would be amazing to have someone of that caliber on this show.
We'll say B-list.
Just
B-list
bring them down to like pull them down to just talk about being a dad.
Well, we talk a little bit of that, right? Like,
it's true. We talked
to Jimmy Hanlon. Do you know who Jimmy Hanlon is?
No.
So he's a golf pro.
Oh, yeah. I know. But you said, for some reason, I was thinking James Hanlon. Like, does this thing on STO, does it say James?
It's Jimmy.
It's Jimmy Hanlon.
It doesn't say James?
It might.
Okay, well, that's why I was thinking, like, yeah.
Dude's a multiple, like 5 or 6 time Emmy winner. Like,
oh, yeah.
He was big. That was a big person for us to have on the show. And he was amazing.
And it was really cool for him to, like we weren't asking him questions about like his golf game and things like
no,
like,
you're talking about real shit.
And like it was kind of cool for him to unpack some of the stuff with his kids and like that was a lot of fun.
I could totally all right, so like last year I was backstage at a Social Distortion and Flogging Molly and I was hanging out and Social Distortion has been like one of my favorite bands for a very long time, like growing up as a kid, very influential to me. And I find myself like, you know, I know a lot of people, know a lot of bands, and I, you know, like my girlfriend always like laughs at me and tells me, she's like, this is like, she doesn't come from a music background. I've been involved in music for a long time. So like she's always like, this isn't real life. Like, I can't believe like, you know, some of these people and like you find yourself in these situations where you're like, you know, talking to these bands and you know these people. And I'm like, I find it so normal because it's like I've been dealing with this for such a long time,
right?
That like it's just like I like because I know these people when they're not doing the band thing, right. And they're fucking dads like us,
right? It's different people,
exactly. They're so like they're just such normal fucking people, and then like when I like the way we like interact. When she's like, I just can't, like, it's just like, it's such a surreal thing. It's like, because like they're put on such a pedestal because of what they do for a living that like they don't live normal lives. It's like, why don't they? Like we all breathe the same fucking air.
We
all
are human. We all have lives.
Yeah. So like, I was hanging out backstage at a concert like that. And it was one of those things where like, I found like, it was the guy that was in the band of like the band that I've idolized for like years. And I was like, oh my God, like if I could like actually just like shake his hand and talk to him. And I was thinking to myself, like, there's so many people that like hit this guy for probably like the same like garbage, like your music and this and that, and like I was like, I know,
my demo.
but I know like we have like a common ground of like hot rods and cars, and I was like, dude, I even told my girl before I even went to the concert, because like I knew I was gonna be back there and like hanging out with these guys. I was like, if I even got a chance to even just like cross paths with this guy, like the only thing I want to talk to him about was fucking cars. Yeah. I'd like to hit this guy and talk to him about something that like he's probably on tour all the time and doesn't like, everybody wants to talk about the same fucking thing, like the songs or the music.
Yep.
But like, I know that we have like this thing that like where I know like we have a common ground that like a lot of people probably don't hit. And it's like, you know, like, hey, you can be real with me. Like, I'm a real dude. Like,
a lot of people prefer that.
Like, I think you're really fucking cool of what you do, and your music has probably gotten me through a lot of hard times in my life, but fuck all that. I want to talk about some cars because I'm a car guy. I'm a car geek. Like, I don't even want to talk about the music. Let's just talk about that and be a real human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's cool too, because like we on here too, like the guys from I can't even talk, Penelope.
Oh yeah.
The when they go on these shows and they go and talk to people or interviews for anything, they're like, all we talk about is our company and bourbon. And we're talking about whiskey.
Company.
And they're like,
It gets exhausting.
they're like, man, this is awesome. Can we hire you guys for like one-on-one sessions? Because like this is so cool to actually sit here and talk about being a dad and talking about real life and not just talking about our business. And
that's what I love about this format, though, is that number one, no one's telling us that we have to talk about these bullet points. Or
we don't have to promote
Right?
your
There's
stuff.
no-
And it was the same thing I told my neighbor. He was like,
board.
what's your content? You gonna do? You going on and promoting your business? I'm like, I'm going on and fucking like, I'm here sitting here fucking like figuring out like, I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know.
We're gonna hang out.
Nothing. We're just gonna fucking hang out. Like I said, I've known the one dude for 20 years, and like we're just gonna fucking hang out as dads and just like fucking drink some fucking bourbon and swap stories.
That's what's cool.
You know?
about
That's the best part
fatherhood
about it, man.
Is that
Like you said, it's the outlet. It's the outlet of the whole thing. You know, it's like we're separating ourselves from the family life and bringing ourselves here together and just being like, what do you got? What do you got? Like everybody's bringing something to the table that we're always like feeding off of each other when it comes to dad shit.
Right,
you guys
absolutely.
got your dad hack stuff.
Yep.
You guys got your like, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Like this is a thing where it's like this is a forum for dads.
Yes.
Come here, listen, escape, find some stuff that you like, you know, like you might want to do, or you know what I
it
mean?
doesn't
Like
matter what you do for a career. Like whether you love it, you hate it, you could be a salesman, you could own a bourbon or whiskey company, you could be a barber, like you could do whatever it is. If we have that fatherhood thing in common,
We're all
and,
there.
like, we've shared similar things, and we've done things a little bit differently. Some have worked, some don't work, and I think that's what's really cool is we get to figure out like all these different paths and how they relate to being a dad. And at the end of the day, like that's what's really cool to me is
I agree.
like we've gotten to talk to what are we coming up on 80 something different dads, and none of them have the exact same job.
Right?
None
Everybody-
of them have the exact same experience with their kids.
But you say something, you're like, "Yep, that's
I've
me.
been
That's
there.
me."
I get
Okay,
it.
I'm not losing my
I've
fucking
been
mind.
there.
I'm doing the same thing. Oh my god,
Been there.
It's round table and you sit around
Yeah.
and we hang out and we just talk. You know,
Yeah.
there's just no outside noise,
Right.
and you get to actually sit here and talk about this stuff.
Right.
I mean,
We were talking about like, all right, it's different now because we just talk about our kids instead of sports or whatever. And like, we still talk about sports. We still talk about whatever. But what we said is like Steve was like 6 months behind me.
yeah,
And so every time my kid did something, I was like, dude, wait like a couple months. Like when Sammy
Right.
does this,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
so
yeah.
excited. And we're like, man, I wish I had that. You know what I mean?
So I had the same thing with a previous guest, Nick Ora.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had the
Dude,
same
Nick's
thing
the
with
man.
him. Yeah, Nick's
Yeah.
like one of my fucking best friends for a very long time. Yeah, so same thing with him. It was like I had kids like way before him, so then like it would be like he hit these things with Johnny. And I'm like, I was there.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
was there 6 years ago.
And it's
though.
cool to
like,
talk about, right?
You know, like,
Like-
yeah, for sure. Like, you know, like it was like something like, I mean, we've been best friends since the late 90s. So it's just, again, like we've had that connection of being able to like, you know, as like we were best friends as kids, and then we were best friends as like, you know, just recently married or spouses or just dating or being with somebody and then building a family and then just in comparing all the notes and
it's cool to go
it's
through
nice
that.
to have that support group.
Absolutely.
With
And
a
there's
guy
a
like
lot
that.
of dude. I mean, so I mean, to kind of go back to like the podcast thing and why we think it's important is, so again, in my day to day, I own childcare centers and I see tons of families that come in and, it's all different, but of course, when it's a single family, it's usually the mom that has the kids, right? That's just
For
the
sure.
world that we live in. And
Listen,
it's probably better off
I'm
that way.
gonna give my girlfriend a props right now. She's the fucking boss at it.
Yeah,
she's been in that situation for a long time, and she fucking rocks that shit. Like she's
got
she's
me
awesome at it.
thinking though, is like if we want to change the, I don't want to say stigma or the attitude around fatherhood, and so because like sometimes shit doesn't work out with your children's mother.
Been
right?
there. I'm
Happens.
living
It's
that
life,
story.
yeah.
I lived that
Yeah.
story.
That doesn't mean you can't still be a dad to your kids, or you shouldn't want to be a dad to your kids. Like there's
100%, man.
Like there are things that happen, or even if it does work out fine, like dads don't need to take a back seat to parenting.
I don't understand that too. I don't get that because I'm that guy that's so different from that. Like my girlfriend and I have this conversation all the time where it's like she's talking about like how I love the fact that you're that guy that like even though like you're divorced, like you still like you're out there like you want to be a dad.
Yeah.
Like you want to be involved. There's so many dudes that just don't want to be involved, and I don't get it.
Well,
like
I think
I couldn't imagine just like not being involved with my kids.
I think
like,
there's a stigma for a long, long time, and I don't know if it was because man is breadwinner and woman stays home with child, like archaic, whatever. Like
we were just talking about that.
That's
We were
just
just talking about
what
that.
it was. Like it is what it is. Like times change and we evolve, but like there's a lot of people that don't evolve, and so whether it's divorce or it's just your dad and so or your man and so you go to work and I don't have to deal with this, whatever. Like my parents are a really good example. My dad worked his ass off. My mom worked her ass off. But at the same time, like when it came to any kind of nurturing or any kind of like school stuff, like it was mom. My mom took care of everything.
Yeah.
My dad was usually working, like swing shifts and stuff like
Right.
that.
My dad traveled for
did
work,
the
so he
best
was the
he
same
fucking
thing.
could.
He
Like,
traveled
my
for work,
dad's
so
the
like
man.
my mom handled all
My
that
dad's
stuff too.
amazing, and for all that, like I will say, like my dad would come off of working 24-hour shifts and then still come to my games and stuff like that. Like I'm not saying like my dad was amazing. I don't want you to get that impression, but what I'm saying is like still at the end of the day, like you had to like bedtime or like my dad, he's come on the podcast and told us before. He's like, dude, I didn't change a diaper. Like what?
Not one?
Like what? He's like, no, I would like my mom was in night school and like he was like, yeah, I could tell that you shit, but like your mom let you sit. But your mom was gonna be home in like an hour. So I was like, what?
So take care when she gets home.
So Steve, should we just tell him now your dad didn't love you? Like I don't think he loved you.
somebody should tell him.
Was afraid. Like he was like, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And like I'm here to tell you, like in the childcare business, I see a lot of dads that like don't put in any effort.
God damn
And,
it,
like,
I
they're
hate it.
supposed to
I
be
fucking
there,
hate it. I
right?
fucking
And,
hate
like,
it because it's like,
me too.
you know what? That's not like that. Like like one of the things you're trying to put out with this podcast is like, dads, let's be men.
Yeah.
Let's like we were talking about last time. And again, listeners didn't get to hear it. We were talking about roles. And it's like, why do people have to be so offended by the word of a role? What is wrong with having a role as a dad? You know what I mean?
Nothing.
Exactly. My
And
point exactly.
Your role at home is going to be different than my role. It's going to be different than Steve's role. Whatever works in your family is what works.
But the problem is, as soon as you say role, all of a sudden it becomes negative, and it's like, why? I have no problem being put in my place as a role.
Yeah.
Like where like there are certain things as a man I'm going to take care of because there are certain things as like a woman, if my girlfriend is going to take care of them, and as a man, I should be doing that. Like that's to me, that's an inferior feeling.
Right.
Why
Absolutely.
why like if
And there's
I'm
a
the
lot of stuff
man, like what and listen, if I'm the dad and I'm the father, but then I'm also daddy at the same time too. Like like it's like you got to stand up to that role. Like you don't just take on like some of the shoes. Like you wear all the hats. You wear all the shoes.
Yeah, you do.
You know, as a man, like you got to step it up.
And
you know,
there's a lot of things that us as men can't do that a woman can do.
Right.
right. And I've got
there's
I've got
nothing
no
wrong with
problem.
that. No
I've
problem
got no
whatsoever.
problem. Yeah,
Nothing.
nope.
Well, like we've said before, like especially dads that are coming in and like brand new baby, right? It's
Oh,
like,
we were
dude,
talking about that before.
Dude, I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what to do. Like I can't produce milk to give to my infant.
It's a
kid.
very helpless time for a male.
It
But
is.
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what
Your
your
role
role
is-
is there? You're a go-getter.
Oh, you are. You're
You're
errand boy.
A glass
You're
of
the
water,
you're
go
the
get a glass of water.
you're the
She
errand
needs a
boy.
pillow, go get a pillow.
You stand to the side and you say, "What do you need?"
yeah. I'm
That's your role because there's nothing else you can do.
And that's okay.
there's nothing wrong with
And-
that
and I'm
Support them,
because you know what,
it's
she
all
needs
about
that.
support. Yeah, you need the support.
She needs that.
It could be 3 a.m. and she's struggling with something.
You just
and
need
all
to be
you do
awake.
is just be there.
Yeah.
And be
Right.
like, what can I do? And she could say, "Fuck you, get the hell out of here." You'd be like, "All right,
All right,
That's
you
fine.
say
Sit
no
outside
more.
the door. Go sit outside the
And then
door.
you, and then you
wait for her
wait,
to get over it.
and she says, "Hey, I need this."
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I
And
got
you
it.
jump up and you run into the kitchen and you grab her a glass of water, or you do what you
And
got to
I-
do. Get her a towel. Get her something.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm
Anything,
here to tell you,
anything.
And you do it.
Like it's just effort, right? And you're doing whatever it takes to make sure that your kids are getting the most out of this precious life that we can give them. Right?
Yeah,
Because-
we're caretakers. That's
Right.
what we do. Like even women are nurturers, we're caretakers. Like we want to take care of them. They want to support and take care of us.
And so,
Yeah.
so I've been in
know,
childcare
plain and
for
simple,
like
yeah.
I've been in childcare for like 14 years now, probably more than that, but I'm going to call it 14 years full time. And I'm here to tell you, like, there is a difference in kids who have a father figure
Oh God.
in their life.
We were just
It's just the truth. Like
It really
I'm not
is.
going to give you stats or numbers and like
no,
and you
but I can
find
tell
them,
I
don't
can
get
tell
me
you from
wrong.
personal experience.
It is so true. Like we have kids that come in that like never see their dad, and they're just lost when it comes to how to cope emotionally with things because all it is one person. They're getting all their info from one person.
And I couldn't agree with that more. When I met my girlfriend, it was the same exact thing. It was a situation where dad is around, but dad is around a lot. And I stepped in to pretty much be like a stepdad.
Yeah.
You know, there's a father figure that's around, but because of like distance of where that person lives and, you know, logistically, the guy's not around as much.
Yeah.
So, you know, I took on a role of being that. And I couldn't like with dealing with quarantine and dealing with just everything that's happened in 2020, like I can't like, it's just like the amount of change
Yeah.
that a father can put into like just having that like I've had to explain it so many times to my girlfriend. It's like I know you want to be mom and dad all the time, but you can't be mom and dad because you're a mom.
Right.
You're a woman.
Right.
You're a woman. You are a mom. That's what your role
And
is
you
to
should
do.
be a mom.
And I understand that like you've had so long of a time that you've had to be dad because there wasn't around, but I've got this now. Like
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I've got this now. You can like focus on just being a mom. I got the dad portion.
Well, and
you
to,
know,
and to step up and do that for somebody else's kids, right? Like, and
huge.
I don't say that like negatively.
no,
Like,
but
they're
it's
not
said
your
so negatively.
It's not. They're not your biological kids, but like in having a couple hours worth of conversation with you, like they're your kids, right?
Oh,
Like,
they are. They are. I
You,
love them.
you
I
hang
love
out
them
with
dearly.
them. You do the things that a dad should be doing,
Right.
And that's amazing. Like that's what we're here to do. Is
But
to bring
in
another
return,
perspective.
she also does the same thing
With
for
your
mine.
kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And
does
that's
this,
the best
yeah,
thing.
and helps me out with mine too. You
And
know,
that's-
like, yeah. Here's a dynamic. Like, I know this is a dad podcast. You know, ever about having a mom in here?
Dude, we've
been
had-
brought
Or is
up.
it
It's
Like
been
we're
brought
just
up.
not even crossing
We've
that
had
barrier.
requests.
We've had a lot of different requests.
And like, how
and
would
it's
we
been
even
considered.
pick?
Yeah, and then like, who do you pick? And then that's a tough one.
So the cool thing about this is that we get to talk about it as men. You know what I mean? Like,
And what you should, I think, if you should, I think it should stay that way.
No, it could get interesting, but we
Could?
don't. But the
It
thing
would.
is, yeah. But
It
the thing
would.
is, on here, we don't sit around and bash women, though.
no,
For
not
sure.
At all.
For sure.
If there's anything that we do,
We
sit there. We
uplift
yeah, we
and,
do.
like,
Oh, absolutely.
All we do is
Amazing
praise
moms
our
are
wives.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like, I mean,
There's
listen,
jokes, obviously,
I'm in,
but
of course.
But we know damn straight that thank God they're here because
Listen, I'm the master of them. I'm on, like, you guys are on round 1. I'm on round 2 already.
Yeah,
you guys
right.
are. Listen, I'm on round 2. I get in, like, I've. Believe me, like
Well,
my
again, going back-
chick that I have now is the most fucking amazing woman that's ever stepped into my life. She is absolutely just. I can't. There's praise and love is not even a strong enough
Right.
word
Yeah.
that what I have for this girl.
That's
It is
amazing.
just like, I mean, within like 2 years of being with her, as opposed to being like married for as long as I was, like this is just like I'm almost at like I feel like a kid that's in junior high that just like fell in love again or something
That's
like
awesome.
that. You know,
Amazing,
like
yeah.
it's like
That's great.
I can't believe that I found somebody that like just like somebody that just like is so much on the same page, like we're like just with parenting and life in general that like you can fuse all that together.
I mean,
and
when did you have your daughter's the oldest, right? So
yeah.
How old were you guys when you had
My ex-wife and I were in our early 20s. I was 20 years old. I was like 4 weeks before my 21st birthday, before
Yeah,
I had my
that's-
first kid. I was young.
Yeah.
I was very, very, very young. And my girlfriend comes from a similar standpoint where she was never married, but same thing. Long-term relationship with a guy that, you know, they had kids together. They built a life. They built a family together. And then it just didn't work out.
Sure.
You know? And then this is where we're at now. So there's that common ground
Yeah.
with that. You know,
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
except for the fact that like I had a legally binding contract, she didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, like you might as well just say.
and
it
that
was the same
stuff
fucking thing.
happens. I mean, again, we're not here to say that fathers are the most important thing in a child's life, and like, because that's not true. I think what's most important in a child's life is that they have some sort of influence, and multiple influences to learn the best that they can about what this life has to offer.
And that's one of the things that we always constantly talk about is like showing them that like, you know, we can do this like a blended family,
And by
a
the
blended
way-
life event, a blended family, and just, you know, and just like not everything is fairy tale perfect. You know,
by
like
the way,
don't get me wrong. Like my girlfriend always says, like, do you really think I grew up like wanting to be like somebody's second wife? You know, for it's like, of course not. You know,
Right,
like,
right.
but you know what? Life ain't fucking perfect. But you
When
know
it
what?
works out, it can be. Then.
But exactly, it's
Well,
how
that's the
it's your
thing.
attitude on it.
For-
It's that
from
attitude.
From a child's perspective or multiple kids' perspective, that can come from a 2-parent family. That can come from a 4-parent family.
Right,
That can
right.
come from a 1-parent family. It can happen.
right,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, there's plenty of single moms, single dads out there that make it work. You know, you have uncles and you have aunts and you have grandparents and all that kind of things. Like, it can work.
And listen, I know lots of single moms and single dads that do it, and
Sure.
I want to give them praise right now because I know I can rattle off at least half a dozen. Of both sexes on my hand, that it's like, you know what, kudos to you. You
Yeah.
do a fucking great job.
Yeah, for sure.
You
What's
do an
cool is-
amazing job at it.
I think
you
the
know,
point that we try to make on this show is that being a dad
doesn't have to be like conventional.
isn't a curse. It's not a chore. Like, you can do a lot of cool shit and you can still be and again, that's why we like talking about cars and we like talking about sports and movies and
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
whatever. It's like
it doesn't
being
have to
your
be
own
conventional.
person.
It doesn't have to be conventional. We can all be dads, but live different lives.
And you take those experiences that you have as your own person, and now all of a sudden you're passing on these cool things that like your kids are going to embrace and embellish for the rest of their lives. And our job is to influence our children to become the best possible human that they can.
and
right?
and with all the experiences that you bring to the table with 80 different dads
Yeah.
after like, you know, a year and a half of actually taking your idea from a basement bullshit drunk standpoint
Yep.
to building it into a podcast now that we've got like multiple seasons and we've got multiple dads and all different walks of life that come together in the middle of the table for one thing, fatherhood.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
And that's what's
fucking
cool.
cheers that shit.
Cheers. Oh,
Boom, that
I
was
need to
perfectly
fill mine
said
up.
right there.
Yeah, cheers that shit. We all cheersed empty glasses and bottles, so that was the lamest
Yeah,
shit
that was
I've ever
bad.
seen in
That
my
was
life.
bad.
Because it really was bad. Like we all actually picked up an empty
bad.
glass of something and cheersed
you had
it
something that was
for
full
noise
to-
effect.
Yeah,
it was
you-
yeah, it was a noise effect thing. I had a
All right, try that
glass of-
again.
Here you go.
All right, so yeah, so cheers to three great fathers. How about
you go.
that,
How about that?
gentlemen?
It's all about the fatherhood, man.
All right, so you kind of touched on something that we talked about the last time that no one gets going to get to hear.
Yeah, because again, there's
But,
so
like,
many teasers that they didn't get to
COVID
hear.
But like COVID, being in the house, 5 kids, you kind
We're
of
gonna open that can of worms, huh? All right, let's go.
So no, like
we just
like,
poured a glass of bourbon, so
like
let's
one
go.
of the things that we really like to do is what is the dad hack? Like how can the 22-year-old kid that's gonna have his first kid that thinks his life is over, like, oh shit, my girlfriend just got pregnant, like what do I do now?
Yeah.
Like we try and give them a hack, like something that like a very simple thing that is going to get you through your day.
All right, so
and you brought up something last time. I don't know if
all
you
right,
want
well,
to continue it.
I will actually. You know what?
'Cause
So
I love it.
all right, so you know what? Because I'm a foodie. I'm a
yeah,
foodie.
we
I'm a
are.
fucking
We all
foodie.
are.
So you know what? I've found the way between having 2 kids and 3 stepkids. The one way that I can speak to them, at least 3 out of 5 is food.
Yeah.
All
3 out
right.
of 5 solid.
All right, 3 out of 5 is solid for fucking food. All right, you're right because you know
If I
what?
get
Because
1 out of 2, I'm happy.
because you guys each both have 2
Yeah,
kids, and they're
yeah.
both what's the oldest out of the
It'll be
them?
5 in January.
My-
Okay, yeah, and the oldest is 5 for you guys. That's my youngest.
Yeah,
Okay, so like I'm. It's so funny because we've known each other for such a long time, and
we're
like
just
we've
different
go,
places,
but
yeah.
yet I'm 10 years ahead of that. You know.
Yeah.
So food, that is the biggest thing. So like I was saying before, I nailed down my fucking Egg McMuffin sandwich. It's a breakfast sandwich that is made at home, and it is 10 times better than an actual Egg McMuffin.
I love breakfast.
Because
Man, we
what's so-
had a long talk about this via text last week.
all right,
We
so
did
you
actually.
all right, so here's what we do in our.
Actually, it was the day after he was on.
Was it really? All right, so here I'm gonna leave you all with something to take home with this right now. We have a code for this.
Okay.
BFD, breakfast for dinner.
Oh yeah.
BFD.
I love Brenner.
So like
Dude,
that,
that's
like
a-
yeah.
that's
You
a
ever
dad
want
hack,
to? You
I'll
ever
tell
want?
ya.
You ever want to send a sexy text message to your old lady instead of sending a dick pic? Send a BFD. You know, we're gonna do a little
Well, that
BF.
could be BFD could be a big fat dick.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
so-
I like
You
that.
gotta be careful.
All right, so the old BFD for dinner. Right, I like that. Yeah,
She's
so,
like,
yeah.
okay, wait,
All right.
this is a sandwich. What happened?
So disappointed.
So yeah, so BFD, man, I'm telling you, I got this
Breakfast
fucking
for
like
dinner, man. I love
it's
it.
fucking great, dude. Like, cause I tell you what, there's when it comes to kids, you guys got like young kids. Kids are fucking picky when it comes to
yeah.
eating. But yeah, my stepkids are fucking picky as shit. They won't like my oldest of the stepkids will eat anything I put in front of him. I
awesome.
literally can blindfold him and be like, Cole, open up your mouth, and I'll put something on a fork, and he'll just do it because he knows
good.
like
He's gonna eat.
he knows like all right, he knows what he's doing. He's gonna
He's gonna make some good food here.
He's gonna make something up. Yeah, my 2 younger ones. Yeah, forget it. They don't. They just. They have no interest in food whatsoever. But they're younger, so I get it. So like you know, it's like all right, I'll get there. I'll work on you. I'll work on you.
Hold on
Yeah.
a second.
Dad hack. Well, the actual
I'll be
hack,
honest with
though,
you, man.
Yeah, no,
It's the
100%.
breakfast for dinner?
Breakfast
BFD,
for dinner is
dude.
amazing.
I'm telling you, dude, do it.
Last
it.
week-
So I got two. I got 2 for you. Like because we thought about. I told you about the Egg McMuffin. All right, and I told you that, but I thought of another one.
Oh,
on
all
top of
right.
that too. So
All
you got the So I do that homemade Egg McMuffin where
Wrap it up.
it's just
So you like meal prep those, right?
I have, and all right. So since the lads podcast that I was here a week ago, I've went through that stock that I went through this week. I got to cook the eggs more. The eggs were not. The eggs were cooked where it's like if I'm going to serve it to you right now, you're gonna get a runny egg and you're gonna get that runny over easiness, and it's like
a runny egg.
oh my god, who doesn't?
Yeah,
Who doesn't love ooey goodness in their mouth?
They gotta be dippy eggs.
Who doesn't love ooey goodness?
I caught it. Don't worry, I caught it.
Yeah, exactly. But then, like, if you make an egg like that, and then you wrap
Then
that,
you freeze it, yeah.
No, don't even freeze it. Just put it in the fridge, and then you like heat it up in the microwave like 3 or 4 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
The runny eggs aren't going to work for that.
It doesn't work for
No,
that.
the runny eggs got to be fresh.
So dad hack fail on that. So there's a whole reason why that podcast didn't work last week, because I went and improved the recipe, and then I came back to actually tell you about it. So when I come back and tell you about it now, which is now, cook the egg longer.
Okay.
So you're gonna make a full on over easy egg. All right. And
or like over hard egg.
Over hard, over easy, doesn't even matter. You don't even have to flip that son of a bitch, because you also fry some ham up.
Oh yeah.
With some American cheese. Yep. And you don't, like I said, you don't need to at that point. It will all just come together. You know? So cook that egg a little bit longer if you want to meal prep, I guess, if you want to say
man, there it is.
if you want to but then the second one, I stumbled on this just totally just fucking around in the kitchen. So I bought a loaf of cinnamon bread. French toasted.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
I haven't done that in a long time.
You take the actual cinnamon bread, it's got the cinnamon swirl in it, and then you French toast that thing with the egg and everything.
So good.
Fuck! It is so good.
So good.
It is so fucking good. And I'll tell you what, there's not a kid in the world that is not eating that shit.
That's true, man.
So I'll tell you what, right there, those are the dad hacks that I got. If you ever want your kids to eat food, breakfast it.
Yeah.
Breakfast for dinner.
It's so
BFD.
true though, man, because I've had to pull it out before where that's what you said.
So that's
but I've had to bust it out where it's like they're not going to eat anything. How about we make some
pancakes or
sausage,
exactly,
and bacon, and eggs,
you know what? And every
eat.
time, Steve, are they ecstatic?
Yes.
They you think you'd be giving them Christmas in fucking September?
They're
It's the easiest,
so pumped.
cheapest dinner you can
It
possibly
is.
make,
All right,
and it's
and
perfect.
I love
Because I tell you what,
breakfast
you know
too,
what's
so
another
it's a win-win.
easy? You know what's another easy cheap dinner? Spaghetti and meatballs, and they don't give a flying
love it.
fuck about that.
They
No,
love
my
meatballs
kids don't
too.
give a flying fuck about that. You do breakfast, Sam.
Hold on.
Like you do breakfast,
that's true.
they go nuts.
Hold on. Isn't that so true? Like, we as parents, I know me and my wife do it. We're like, okay, we're going to do something really cool. We're going to make this like white pasta with like an olive oil sauce, and it's going to taste so good. And
No,
the
that's
kids are like,
for you.
Exactly.
That's for you.
Exactly.
They don't
You're
care.
right. But like,
Were we talking about this last time? Buying the frozen food shit? Like,
I think we busted it. I think we did get into it a little bit about
because my girlfriend and I are famous for that. Like, it's like we're just gonna buy frozen food shit for our kids, and then we're gonna make ourselves a nice dinner.
Because you buy all the ingredients, you make this huge dinner, and they won't touch it. You're like,
and then you
well,
go heat
I
up,
love it,
or
but
you go
then
make some mac and cheese.
You throw some dino nuggets in the
Yeah,
fucking
right,
microwave,
right,
and then
right.
you're like,
And it's like, how are you that easily impressed?
yeah.
After I just what I did.
But it's the delicious stuff they don't want to touch. I'm like,
But here's
trust
the
me,
thing,
this
though.
is really good.
Breakfast for dinner is amazing.
Yeah, dude, that's my dad hack.
Dude, I've said it on the show before. My retirement job one day will be I want a food truck where I just make breakfast sandwiches. Okay. So when I was in the Marine
Everybody
Corps,
knows that breakfast is the best because that's why a lot of diners and restaurants have breakfast all day because they know it works.
So that's what I found.
amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I figured out with my kids. I'm like, you know what? Having 5 of them. Like if I've got 5 picky motherfuckers in my house.
I got
all
breakfast.
at all times.
Make some
so,
McMuffins.
You know what?
I got
breakfast and everybody's fucking happy.
Yeah.
So dad hacked that shit.
I love it.
Give the old lady the BFD
if you
at the
know
end of
what,
the night.
yeah. If you're ever having a hard time with your old lady at home, or you're having a hard time with your
BFD.
kids, BFD that shit, and you know what, she will stay off your ass. The kids will eat good, and you know what, you will be a knight in shining fucking armor for that night.
And then after the BFD dinner, then you give the BFD.
Then you
and
give that little BFD to old mama over
Then
there,
you
and
bust out the real BFD.
I like where that's going. Yeah,
Oh man,
dad,
that's amazing.
hack that shit.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Oh, that's amazing.
All right, let's go change some tires on my car now.
Wait, one more thing.
Oh yeah.
Proud dad moment.
Yeah, we did
Proud
need a
dad
proud dad
moment.
moment.
My oldest. I focus on my oldest a lot because she's the first one, and I've got the most experiences with her. So
Well,
unfortunately,
you've seen her grow.
I have. Yeah. So she's gonna get a big
This
fuck.
is exactly what it was, actually.
Yeah, she's gonna get a big fucking head and complex over this. But no, actually, this is a different one. I thought of a different one actually. So my oldest, actually, when she was about, I want to say like 9, I think it was, or something like that. 9, 10. She'll actually correct me from watching this episode. I don't even know how she was, but she grew her hair out to the point where she was like, "I'm growing out because I want to donate it."
Okay.
And then she did a cut for like a cancer donation.
Yeah.
You know, you have to grow it out a certain amount of like length.
It's a lot, too.
Because it's like they have a standard. They're like, we won't take it if it's
below that.
Yeah. So like it was like, I want to grow it and do that, and she did it and grew it, and I was like, you know what? That is a super proud dad moment.
Yeah.
Like that. Like
For her
she
to
was
go
like,
and think of doing something like that, that's pretty awesome.
at
As a
that
9-year-old.
age. At that age, that was
that's
what,
cool.
because my daughter's almost 15 now. So and this was not yesterday. This was God, 4, 5, 6 years ago.
years ago,
I just
That's
know
really
that it was
cool.
like something that, like, when I step back and look at it, I was like, man,
Dude,
that's really
I mean,
fucking cool. That's like,
empathy-
she's like, why is she such a better person than I am?
Well,
you know,
Yeah, you know, praise
I
her,
can
so
tell you why,
that shows
though.
that
I can
what
tell
you
you
did.
why, though, is because she learns that from her influences. Whether
okay,
it's
all right,
your
I'll give you that.
ex-wife or it's you or whatever, like there's a it's typically a combination.
It
And, like,
is, yeah.
empathy is the best thing we can teach our
and
kids.
that's like the one thing that like I do like about where my kids are at now, like having like a, you know, with a blended family role, like they're learning a whole new set of like love from like a different aspect that they never knew existed.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so many people want to like bash on that these days. And it's like, you know what? Like I used to be that person too, but you know what? It's fucking 2020. Shit
It's
happens.
exhausting.
It's shit happens. You
It's
know what? I'm
exhausting.
fucking
It does
divorced and I
happen.
got a blended family.
Yeah.
You know, it is
I
what
think
it
that's
is.
super cool.
Yeah,
I
can't-
really, and I'm
it
not
really
saying
is.
that 'cause
I
we're on the
embrace it.
show.
I 100% embrace it because that's the reason why I came on here, was because I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to, like, you guys gave me an outlet to talk about it, and I wanted to share it because I think it's
absolutely.
fucking awesome.
That's
like,
amazing.
I've grown
I mean,
so much myself. I've grown so much myself in such an experience that it's like, you know what? Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would love to fucking share that with people.
Yeah, that's
Good.
amazing.
That's great.
But that's what's cool about this podcast. It's like we're going to take real life situations, whether, like you said, all walks of life. We're just going to bring you in and we just want to fucking talk.
Yep.
We just like, what have you figured out that we haven't figured out, and
right,
vice versa?
right.
You know, because you know what? Like, there's thousands of books that you could read on this shit, but when it boils down to
And
it,
they're
like,
cool.
you know, we're
That's great. But I'll
we're
take
all
I'll take
figuring
a
it
hell
out
of a lot more from
one
this.
day at a time.
Right.
One day
Yeah.
at a time. We're all
Right.
figuring it out.
I take a hell of a lot more from this, just talking to different people and seeing
Right.
how
Well,
they do it.
that's
And I'm
the
like,
thing
wow,
is-
this is pretty crazy. I never thought about that.
Yeah,
Or,
and-
wow, what I'm doing will work. Yeah. Or
Right.
maybe it won't. I don't know. But we try things and we learn from each other. And that's the best part about the whole thing.
For
yeah.
sure. I mean, real life experiences where you learn about shit. Like,
Yep.
you're not going to learn about anything on a simulator.
No.
You know what?
Right.
You can drive a car on a simulator. You didn't drive it on the real road.
Right.
You could drive a chick on a simulator. You didn't really fucking rock that shit. You know, you could drive a kid on a simulator, but you didn't really fucking parent them and fucking spank an ass when
Right.
somebody misbehaved.
Yeah, right.
So you know what? Real life experiences.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. Real life
100%.
shit, and that's
100%.
what the show was about.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what the
That's
show's
what we
about.
do. Except unless you have a haptic suit.
Let's not get into that. That was
That was our
the
conversation last week, Tommy.
thing.
A
what?
Yeah, it's the thing with Tommy.
This technology thing with
We had this whole conversation.
Virtual-
All right,
virtual
all right.
reality.
So
Pretty
since
good.
Mikowski is sleeping in my old bed,
He is. That's true.
yeah. I
Holy
want
shit,
to. I want
that's
to.
true.
I want to do a shout out to him. Yeah, that he is taking my old room since I have.
You know
yeah.
what's really cool is we did this whole show today, and it was completely different than last week.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not bad.
No,
Okay.
not
All
at
right.
It was
all.
amazing again. But like that's the thing is like we could talk to.
Oh, you're
dads
not just teasing the
for
gal, are you?
days and days and days. I mean, think about it. You have 15 years of experience.
I do.
Of
I have a
being
lot of
father,
experience. Yeah, I
right.
do.
Like
Yeah.
we could talk to you for 15 years, and you still wouldn't get all of the information out. Like it's just not possible. So that's what's really cool. Is like And that's why we enjoy bringing guests back because, again, like last week, like literally 7 days ago, we talked to you. We didn't bring up any of the car stuff. We barely touched on the band stuff.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We barely touched on.
We talked about different proud dad moment.
Yeah. Like all this different stuff.
You guys all told me that it was a good episode, and I was like, "Really?" I was like, I felt like it could have been better
And
content.
this one was really good too.
And I've never done a podcast before, but I was like, so one of the things that we were actually like when it comes to band stuff, actually back, if you want to go back about 15 years, I actually before I got into music, I wanted to get into radio.
Okay.
So that's why like in a way when you shot this to me, I was like, you know what? I've only done actual like radio a couple times in my actual life. Like doing music, I didn't like, I wanted to do radio, but I didn't get a lot of time to do radio. So I only did like literally just a couple handful of times.
Yeah.
And it was like, kind of like, I was like, all right, this would be kind of cool. Like I've never had a chance to like sit down and actually do like a podcast, even though it's not live radio. It's like, it's pre-recorded and there's a cool notion behind that. Like,
cool.
yeah, I wanted to,
Sure.
I was like, yeah, I just shot you a text. I was like, so like I said, I started getting into podcasts because I'm so sick of music that's out these days. I can't find anything that's worth listening to. So my girlfriend started getting me into podcasts. I started with Disgraceland. I bit my tongue when I said this. I'm going to sound really drunk. Yeah. I started with Disgraceland.
Okay.
And you guys ever listen to that one? It's on Spotify, and they focus on like
on
old,
Spotify.
like
We are
you guys on Spotify.
No
All right,
big deal.
no big deal.
Whatever.
Actually, so where are we going to watch this at? YouTube.
YouTube.
yeah,
all
we'll
your,
listen.
whatever
You watch on
podcast
YouTube
format.
and you listen on Spotify.
You can listen on Spotify. You can listen on literally any podcast.
Any
app.
podcast. Yeah.
Okay, so Apple Music,
Yeah,
should
yeah,
get
everything.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
heart everything.
So yeah, I was like, it was one of the first, like I started listening to podcasts and I started listening to this Graceland, and it was like, okay, I can get into this. Like I like storytelling, I like talking, and then I just started listening. She started like filtering in other podcasts like Dax Shepard.
Yep.
And
He's
then
got a good
like,
one.
and then Bert, we're just like bringing in like normal people and just sitting around and shooting the shit and talking. So like she'd play me a podcast and I'm listening and I'm like, this is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like I just like the whole essence of like, you guys have got such a cool fucking studio around here. Like, you're like, you're here in downtown Willoughby. You're like, like right in the heart of Lake County. It's Christmas time. We got like all this, like, just like the image around us.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty sweet.
like, no, like I didn't know what to expect when I came on this, and you guys impressed the fucking shit out of me. Like this,
thanks, man.
no, like this is like, I thought it was going to be like, we're just going to be like, I've known Steve for 20 years. We're just going to be a couple of dads. We're just going to be mumbling words and just fucking drinking bourbon. And it's like, no, like I got fucking greeted at the door by Steve. And I'm like, I know you. You don't have to greet me like this. He's like, hello, how are you? Why don't you come in the door?
Hello, Ronald.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming.
it's like, I've known you like we're cool, right? Like, why are we like, like, it's like, okay, try these headphones on. We're going to make sure the sound sounds good, and then we do a whole podcast. And then like 2 days later, hey, guess what? That podcast actually didn't go anywhere. We fucked it all up.
Hey,
big
man.
time,
Yeah.
So it's like, do you want to come in again? Like, our schedule's like this. I'm like, dude, I was hoping you were. I was already like, we did one episode. I'm like, when's the next one?
Yeah, right.
When's the next one? And then you were like, we fucked up the first one. And you're like, fuck. And I'm like, yes, we can do another one now. So I was like, all right.
It's like, how often do you get to go to therapy this often?
Right? Like as a barber, I get so many people in the chair bitching to me about their problems.
Right.
I don't get to bitch
We didn't even
about.
get into the barber shit. Like,
It's all right. Doesn't worry about it. I'm here. I'm here as a dad. I'm here as a dad. Like I'm okay. I'm a barber. I cut hair. Cool. Fucking book with me at Marky Fresh. It's cool. Like you can find me on social media and fucking Facebook, and you know how to get a hold of me. So book with me. I'm a barber, but like I'm here to talk about that shit.
Yeah.
There you go. I love it, man.
I'm not gonna like not plug it. Like it's cool. That's what I do for a living.
100%.
But at the same time, no. Like I'm here to talk about that shit.
well, I appreciate that. Like it is so much fun just to. You talked about your neighbor, like. Literally get in here and vibe with the dad.
Right?
Like that's literally what it is we just like sit here and we talk about issues that matter.
Yeah.
We talk about issues that literally matter to any parent. Like
Right?
the things that we talk about aren't like, and sometimes we get into
We
to more
sidetracked
personal
and-
things.
Yeah.
For sure, but also 2020 is like there's
Like,
a lot of fucking
everyone's
hullabaloo
dealing with
going
it.
on.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
we've all got like there's a lot of piggybacking from your listeners and from just the three of us alone that like somebody is going to be taking something from this recording.
And that's
you know,
the
it
most
doesn't
important.
matter if it's one of us
could
or
reach
one of your
person.
listeners. You did
Hey,
your job.
We did,
right? You
Because like
did your
Ian said
job.
before, we're not here trying to become millionaires doing this.
No,
We're hanging out.
we're
and
fucking
pretty
real
cool.
I mean,
guys.
hey, trust me, if it happened, sweet.
For
But
sure.
You know what?
We're actively taking sponsorships.
Yeah. Now that we brought it up. But no, the thing is, like, if we could reach,
Is,
if we could reach
what's
that
the email?
dad- yeah.
Plug the email right
We'll
here.
plug it all. But if we could reach one person on
Yeah.
each episode,
I mean, that's what it's
fuck,
about.
man.
Like, we've had people reach out to us and be like, yo, I stumbled on your content. I wasn't a dad.
Yeah.
My wife or my girlfriend just gave birth. I'm now a dad. I feel like I'm so much more prepared from listening to you guys.
Good. That
we saw-
you,
we
you
saw-
know
we saw
what?
that
You
email,
did your
it's like,
job.
holy
Like
shit, man,
fucking
goosebumps.
bro.
Yeah.
I bet.
It's like, holy shit, like
We
we're
did
making a
something.
difference to somebody.
Yeah, because it's
amazing.
Because coming from you two guys, which I've known you guys quite a while, which me too, it's like, what? You got something from me? I'm a fuck up.
Well,
I don't know what I'm fucking doing.
But, you
I don't know
we
what I'm doing
pretend
at
to be
all. I
perfect.
I
The
put
other
out
side
a
of the
pot.
table though. It's like we're taking something at the same time. So like
100%.
selfishly, we are gaining something from our guests each
Yeah.
time.
We don't
And if
pretend to be
and if-
perfect.
If we could reach out, yeah, exactly. Well, God, we've only been in it for 5 years. We don't know. I mean, still don't know what the hell we're doing.
Yeah, like
We-
if you're stumbling onto this show and you think that like
We're pros?
we're these like professional fathers that like
Yeah, we're doctors.
never make any mistakes.
like
been studying up on
negative.
this fatherhood
Negative.
for
This
years.
Yeah.
is
No.
real dad talk that like holy shit, life brings you fucking coronavirus, and life brings you divorce, and life brings you
Been there,
fucking
done it, bro.
terminal, like diseases. Like we've people on
Again,
here that, like,
dude, my life has been turned upside down so
Yeah.
much in the
That's
last
what life
5
is,
years.
right?
It's unfucking believable. I tell my girlfriend this all the time. I'm like, I'm just like, the last 5 years of my life, I just can't believe what a roller coaster I've been on. Like that is one thing when it comes to like dads, and I'm not trying to get like really like ugly on this, but like, you know what? We're never promised tomorrow. Okay.
Right.
Like I've lost people along the way. I've lost relationships along the way. My lifestyle, like things have, so many things have changed in my life in such a short amount of time that like, there's just like that, you
Look at
know,
your screen. Look at your screen and flip that up. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, that, you know, like you're never promised tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like you're never promised tomorrow. So you know what? Tell your fucking kids you love them. Read them a story.
Yeah.
Fucking spend some time with them. Tell your girl. You know what?
Here's the
Go
secret.
home and you know what? Because your wives let you do this shit. Go. You know what? Because we sit here and we come here and we rag on our wives, we rag on our girls and stuff like that. But you know what? Go home tonight and tell her. Be like, you know what? I appreciate you
Yeah.
for letting me do this.
100%.
You know what?
And here's
like
the
you are my
secret.
backbone because my girl is my backbone.
Yeah,
For sure.
100%.
100%.
You know?
100%. We talk about it all the time, but then here's the real secret that like a lot of times we don't want to admit is like when you take the time to read to your kids, you take the time to build the Lego set that you've built 3 times already,
5,000
and it's already
fucking
been
every
broken,
single
and
100
times.
whatever.
Right,
You do all
right.
that kind of stuff. Like it's for your kids, but it's
Right.
also for you.
It is. It
That's
is.
for you. And what does that take? Wait, I mean, how much time does that take you to go and fix this thing really quick?
It's like the same thing I was
busy,
saying-
but you know what? I guess I'll get up and fix this. But really, is that taking up
Steve,
any
you remember
time?
last weekend I was talking about the push-ups?
Yeah.
Like, and I was saying the thing I was like, I
Just
got
a little bit of time.
Yeah, like it's, you know what? It's a little bit of time.
Did you do
know,
your
like
push-ups
we
this
gotta,
And it's nothing.
and you know what? We're just like we are not promised forever here.
Right.
You
No.
know, like I got a fucking flat tire coming here.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been worse.
It could have been a hell of a
Right.
lot
It
It
worse.
could have been worse.
Here's the
you
thing is
guys
that-
could have been like, you know what? We couldn't do the podcast today because he was fucking killed in
Yeah.
a car accident
Absolutely.
on the way
Oh,
here.
Jesus.
And it's
You
the-
know,
and-
like
and it's the type of stuff
I'm
you
not
don't
trying to be
think about.
negative.
No,
I'm just
right,
saying,
but
like,
that's
you know,
real
like
life.
you
That's
know,
real life.
it's real life.
Yeah.
You
So,
know,
like, I
like
mean,
we're
and-
not promised.
And
Like
I was not complaining, but I was explaining to somebody one time how I cannot leave my house without my son, my oldest, doing our handshake. So we have a handshake that we
right?
do.
That's fucking awesome.
We do a handshake
That's
every
fucking
time, and I
awesome.
cannot leave the house unless I do it. And if I don't,
You don't
I'll
feel
get-
right.
and I feel uncomfortable about it, and he'll
Good.
FaceTime me and say we didn't do our handshake, and he'll be devastated. And then somebody on the show actually said, you know what? Think about that. You do your handshake and you say bye to your kid. What if, God forbid, what if you left the house and you didn't come home that night?
Yeah.
And
you know what?
I didn't do that last thing because I mean, how many times have you forgotten to say something to somebody, like a grandparent, and you didn't get to say bye, and you get to hug them that last time, and you walked out of there without saying bye, and
right?
Then you as a person, you're like, fuck, I didn't take that minute to do this.
Anyway, it's such a small amount of time. Small amount of time too.
The best thing is like, hey, the last thing I did with so-and-so was our handshake. I got to properly say goodbye.
Right?
Dude,
I mean, a 5-year-old's not thinking about that. But
no, but you are, though.
About that.
And
like,
you know what?
Shit. Like, I should just take 30 seconds to do it.
And that's the thing. Like you said, at 5, they're not thinking about that. But you know what? At 35. 35. When you know what? They're like, you know what? I didn't have my old man around as a kid. But you know what? I do remember that.
Yeah.
You know?
We're here for a finite amount of time.
We are
right.
It's like
we don't know what's gonna happen
it's like an eye
tomorrow.
blink. It really is.
So doing the handshake and building the Legos and making breakfast for dinner and those memories that you're going to make and those routines that you're going to develop.
That's
with your
the
kids,
stuff that I want to go to sleep when I pass.
That's when
you know, like that's what I want.
You can rest.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can rest because you know what, you're doing what you can for those kids. And whether you're perfect in your eyes or not, doesn't fucking matter. Because
you're doing the best you can.
By doing those things, you're doing the best you can for those kids, and those kids are going to remember that.
Yeah, for
Perfect.
sure.
Perfect.
Leave your legacy.
Yep.
And that's
Cheers to the. Cheers.
I got a little bit in here, so it's not.
You don't have
technically
shit in there.
No, there
so,
is. Look at it right there. It's,
that's pussy shit.
hey, I didn't. What? I didn't. What I'm trying to say is, I didn't.
I
share
actually don't have much either, so you know what? I'm gonna.
But we didn't share an empty glass. It has enough drinks of it.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's a horrible report. All right. I got a flat tire. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So,
all right.
I'm a master of changing tires. If you have a spare,
we'll figure it out here when we get off there.
All right. So anyway, yes. Thank you for coming again.
You already plugged some of your stuff, but anything else you want to plug? MarkyFresh.com.
But you could, just, hit me up on social media, book with me, and for a haircut, and I'm like,
good to go.
You download my recipes at nothing.com.
BFD.com.
Yeah, BFD.com.
I want to type that in and see what comes up.
Do not type that in Google. Just figure out breakfast on yourself.
Yeah,
there you go.
We all know how to cook breakfast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. And then for us, make sure you download us and subscribe on any podcast apparatus that you listen to. So Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, MySpace, YouTube, dumb shit.
Our website.
Spotify, all that kind of stuff. Visit our website, www.thetalkingdads.com. You can download the full library there, and then also check out some of our blogs. We do whiskey reviews, and then also a lot of top lists. Those are fun.
Top 5.
Okay.
You ever seen any of that stuff?
No.
We have
check it
one
out.
coming
It's
up.
fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. If you like movies,
So yeah, we do all
Bring
that
me
kind
in
of
for
good stuff.
a review.
Okay.
we
All
can.
right, we can do that.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
We can absolutely do that.
Let's do it.
And then follow us on the socials. We already kind of talked about them, but
yeah. You know the
Facebook
socials.
and Instagram and all that kind of stuff.
Twitter and whatever.
And in the meantime, raise good humans.
Thank you.
Peace.
Hey guys, if you love what you just heard or watched, and we know you did, do us a solid and hit that thumbs up. Share with your friends and throw us a comment, literally about anything. Your support legit keeps us going. Oh, and don't forget to give us that 5-star rating. We really appreciate you.